Chapter 2251 Yorong, Milk Big. Chapter 2251 Yorong, Milk Big. On a desolate hillside, in a simple and crude house. The ancient moon volume was placed on the table. Long Fei and the rest stood around, staring at the ancient moon volume. The scroll was laid out horizontally, and on it were carvings of all sorts of tadpoles, just like a wordless gobbledygook. What's written on it? After a long time, Xiao Dai finally could not resist asking. Long Fei shook his head and said, "I don't know." Xiao Dai said, "Didn't you say it was a good thing? I thought you could read it." Comprehension. The words on it were all small tadpoles, and most of them were similar in shape. Only a lunatic would be able to understand them. However, Long Fei looked through the scrolls that were shining with a golden light. He was sure that they were not ordinary, but how did he comprehend it? Long Fei was also completely baffled. Thin Monkey laughed heartily. First place was once the most precious treasure that protected Xian Yu sect. Don't you think that our actions are very cool? The big guy also could not help but say, putting on a show. Xiao Dai rolled his eyes at them and said, "This ancient scroll has been in the Xian Yu sect for over 1,000 years, and no one has been able to decipher the words on it." She knew about the ancient moon volume, which was why she was acting this way. To her, it was not even comparable to a piece of firewood. Long Fei asked, "Did it really come from the ancient secret world?" Gui Qingshan, who had been squatting in front of the door smoking, said, "Ancestral Master Xian Yu brought him out from the primordial secret world. However, Grandmaster Xian Yu was also severely injured, and while he was at it, he held on to this ancient scroll tightly." What was hidden on this scroll? Countless geniuses, even the powerhouse cannot comprehend them. Long Fei trembled slightly. "Where is the ancient secret world?" Gui Qingshan said, "Then we will have to ask Ancestor Xian Yu. This kind of secret world can only be found and not sought after, no one knows." And then, Gui Qingshan said slightly, "You should still focus more on how to break through." Saying that, he began to smoke without saying anything. Speaking about cultivation, Xiao Dai immediately looked towards Long Fei, and said, "Along, how did you break through the Escalate Blood 2 stage? It's only been 2 days. How the hell do you cultivate it? Breaking through to the 10th level in 2 days, even this peerless genius can't do it." Xiao Dai was extremely curious. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to understand it. There had never been such a genius in the history of the Zhenwu continent. Long Fei scratched his head and said, "I don't know either, I just randomly broke through, I don't know what's going on either." Game system. Killing people and monsters will give you experience. As long as demon beastess were killed, Long Fei's leveling speed could be faster. However, the fact that he had a game system in his body was something that even his own father wouldn't tell him. This secret couldn't be discovered by another person. Thin Monkey, the big-sized few people were dumbfounded. 2 days in the 10th level. This was practically flying. "Brother Long, you'll be my boss from now on. I'll follow you." "Yes. You're my boss too, I'm going with you. With you protecting us, wouldn't we be able to survive?" Ha ha ha. The few of them became excited. Long Fei said, "I'll try my best, I'll try my best." Xiao Dai said slightly, "I'm afraid that after offending the 7th prince and embarrassing Great Elder Yi Changfeng, it will be very difficult for us in the Xian Yu sect in the future." Indeed. Zhao Etian represented the Zhao dynasty. Wasn't offending the royal family equivalent to courting death? Furthermore, Yi Changfeng, who had the highest authority in the Xian Yu sect and was also an elder of the Pill Pavilion, they would probably not have a single pellet for future cultivation. Just these 2 were enough for them. Everyone fell silent. Offending 2 bosses, would he have a good life in the future? There was a long silence. Long Fei said naively, "Whatever, it has already happened. We have also entered the Xian Yu sect and our fates have changed. As long as we work hard, we will definitely reap rewards." Thin Monkey replied, "There's still boss, what's there to be afraid of?" The big guy followed, "We'll follow boss." That's right. No matter what. Long Fei would never lower his head to anyone. Whether it was in game or in real life, Long Fei was never a coward. If he was really forced into a corner, He really would do anything. Suddenly, Xiao Dai suddenly exclaimed, "Ah, I understand." Long Fei was shocked. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei seriously, and said, "Along, did my punch open your governing and governing bloodlines? This will allow your cultivation to soar, and even you won't be able to discover it yourself." Long Fei. Gui Qingshan. The big size man said straightforwardly, "Sister Xiao Dai, then give me a punch too." Long Fei. How stupid was that? Long Fei said, "Stop messing around, sis, let me ask you, who is that woman who testified for me? Yi Changfeng seems to be a little afraid of her." Many of the elders were in awe. Moreover, what she said was an order, and no one objected to it. Xiao Dai said, "She, Sister Yorong, is Shen Yu sect's young sect master, Uncle Yi's only daughter, also. The Crown Prince has shared the points. However, I don't know why she came back half a month earlier than usual." Yorong. Yi Yorong. Long Fei asked in a daze. Xiao Dai said, "Right, how is it? Pretty, isn't it? She is the #1 beauty of Zhao Guo." "She is Yi Yorong." Wow. Zhao Guo's #1 beauty. Not only that, she is also a super powerhouse who is ranked second in the elixir realm. She is 20 years old and is ranked second in the elixir. This is too awesome. Everyone was moved. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that she was the daughter of heaven. Xiao Dai said, "Her cultivation is not just at the elixir stage, she is a hidden expert." She was one of the few people who had truly seen Yi Yorong's cultivation. Elixir stage? It was far more than that. If she was a elixir, she would not be able to withstand Zhao Wuji's sword. Gui Qingshan was also deep in thought. Why did he return half a month earlier? Because of the sect's assessment? It doesn't seem like it, but could something have happened to the palace? His eyes went cold. And then, unknowingly, Gui Qingshan had suddenly disappeared. And no one noticed. Yorong. Yi Yorong, have. Long Fei muttered, and the naked image of Yi Yorong appeared in his mind. Xiao Dai could not help but ask Long Fei when he saw him mumbling, "Along, what are you mumbling about? Was he enchanted by the sister Yorong? If I were a man, I would be enchanted by her. However, she's going to marry the first prince. She doesn't like the first prince at all." Long Fei was still muttering to himself. It seemed. It was as if he hadn't heard what Xiao Dai had said. "Yorong. You wrong." Long Fei's eyes flashed with a gold light, and said, "I've thought of it, you're big. Milk, big. It's really very big. This name is too piercing." In another place. Within a luxurious little courtyard. "Achoo, choo. Who's talking about me?" Yi Yorong sneezed continuously, and said angrily. Chapter 2252, The Appearance of the Ming Clan. Chapter 2252, The Appearance of the Ming Clan. Miss, Elder Yi requests an audience. A servant girl entered the courtyard. Yi Yorong waved his hands. "I won't." The servant girl left. Not long after, Yi Changfeng still walked in with large strides. The servant girl hurriedly followed behind him and said, "Miss, Yi Yorong said, "You may leave." After the servant girl left, Yi Changfeng immediately asked, "Why did you testify for him?" Yi Yorong smiled faintly and said, "Why can't I testify for him?" Yi Changfeng was startled, then said with a low voice, "Do you know your current identity, or do you know why the Zhao family chose you, and not anyone else?" Yi Yorong raised his eyes and sneered, "Thanks a lot, Uncle Yin." Yi Changfeng's eyes narrowed, his expression changed slightly as he asked, "What do you mean?" Yi Yorong said, "Are you not clear about what I mean? If not for you wanting to be Zhao Guo's state grandmaster, how could I have been chosen as the crown prince's wife? Of course, this can't all be your fault. You just built a bridge, and the Zhao family also took advantage of the situation." Yi Changfeng did not understand again, and said, "Could it be that the Zhao family has another goal?" Yi Yorong laughed. "You have become smarter?" Yi Changfeng asked, "What is your goal?" Yi Yorong said, "Even if I knew, I still wouldn't tell you. You should hurry up and pacify your seventh prince. Whether or not you can become a teacher, the seventh prince is very important." Yi Changfeng's face became even more unsightly, and said solemnly, I don't care how much you mess around, but you must clearly remember one thing. Your current identity is the princess consort, not the crazy girl from before who did whatever she wanted. Offending the Zhao family, you can't afford the consequences. Humph. Yi Changfeng let out a heavy snort, flung his sleeves, and left. Yi Yurong wore a cold smile on his face. Crown Princess? The Zhao family can't afford to offend him? Hee hee. I have already offended you, and even the crown prince was given to me. After saying all that, Yi Yurong's face changed. A sharp pain came from his abdomen and covered his entire body. His face suddenly turned pale, and then he started to tremble uncontrollably. Poochie. A mouthful of black blood was spat out from his mouth. A stream of blood fell into the small pond in the courtyard. A few carp inside struggled for a bit before the belly of the carp appeared. They were dead. The blood contains deadly poison. Yi Yurong's face was also extremely ugly. As he glanced at the hand that was clutching his abdomen, a trickle of blood seeped out. The wound tore again. Zhao Wuji's everlasting burning sword was extremely vicious. Yi Yurong was almost unable to suppress the injuries in his body. Huff. Yi Yurong let out a light breath and said in a low voice, I have to hurry up. Elder Ming. As soon as he finished, an old man in a black robe appeared out of nowhere. Under the black robe, there was a very strange mark on his forehead. If he saw it himself, it would be the Ming clan's mark. However, no one could recognize this imprint. The Ming clan had disappeared for too long, and after so long, no one remembered that the number one clan in the ancient world was also the clan that was once the first ancient inheritance holder. The elder bowed slightly and said, Miss. Yi Yurong said, send someone to stop the seventh prince. Without my order, he is not allowed to take even half a step out of Xianyu sect. Elder Ming nodded, yes. Then, it disappeared. The speed was extremely strange. Passing the test on the second day, I'm going to report to the Martial Hall today. I heard that today we'll be able to obtain the clothes of an official disciple, and there's even a monthly rule. I heard that it's a grade 1 body tempering pill, Thin Monkey said excitedly. Spirit pills. In the past, they didn't even dare to think about it. Spirit pills were too precious. Not to mention taking them, he had never even seen one before. The big guy was also overjoyed. Then let's hurry up, Thin Monkey laughed. What's the rush? Our results are all top few, maybe we will even get some special rewards. If we can get a few more spirit dance, that would be great. Haha. According to the past practice, disciples who placed in the top 10 would receive some special rewards. They were all important people to nurture. Long Fei cut a huge bundle of grass and placed it in front of the cow stall, then patted it and said, it's delicious. Ever since Green Ox had learned to talk, Long Fei had basically been responsible for his grass. When Xiao Dai saw Long Fei, he immediately said, Along, let's go to the Martial Hall to report together. Today, we are official disciples of the Xianyu sect. I can receive a lot of things. And your own house. Long Fei was also happy. Then let's go. Martial Hall, 1,000 new disciples had entered. It was extremely lively. Ha ha ha. It's finally time for you to become an official disciple. I will definitely go all out. I'm about to break through now. If you give me a body refinement pellet, I'll be able to break through in an instant. Many disciples were waiting. Today was a big day for them. Not long after, the distribution window for the new disciples opened. Everyone queued up in succession. Look, they've started. Boss, I'll go queue up first. Thin Monkey and the big size man quickly ran up. Looking at this scene, Long Fei thought in his heart, just like the first day of school, this is truly a spectacular scene. Big brother Along, from now on, we are fellow sect senior brother S. We need to take care of you more. Senior brother Along, please take care of little sister in the future. A little beauty flirted with Long Fei. Good morning, senior brother Along. Senior brother Along, you must help little sister in the future. Number 1 newbie, Grade 7 rating monster and beasts hunters. Long Fei was already a celebrity in Xianyu sect. The reason was very simple. The Escalate Blood 2 stage Long Fei would definitely get the attention of the sect, and he might even become an elite disciple very quickly. Xiao Dai was a little jealous as he said, "Along, they are all demonists, you have to keep your distance from them." At this moment, Thin Monkey hurriedly ran back and said, "Boss, something's wrong." Long Fei asked, "What's going on?" Thin Monkey replied, "Our names are not here." At this moment, the big size man also ran back from the window and said, "Boss, without our names, senior brother did not allow me to receive disciples' clothes. What is going on? Didn't we pass the examination?" Long Fei's gaze tensed up. "Ha ha ha." Seventh Prince Zhao Yiqian laughed complacently. The clothes he was wearing was not the clothes an ordinary disciple wore, but the clothes only an elite disciple could wear. Moreover, the elixir in his hand was not one, but an entire bottle. Zhao Yiqian laughed disdainfully. "So what if you're the first? I want to see who dares to take you in." "Ha ha ha. Kid, you want to fight me? Fight with me. If you don't piss yourself, what right do you have to fight me?" Ha ha ha. Long Fei's eyes darkened, anger burning within him. "Thank you for your support." Chapter 2253 Kneeling, Crippling. Chapter 2253 Kneeling, Crippling. Long Fei's character would never allow anyone to be arrogant in front of him. Once, in a certain game, just because a player had acted so arrogantly in front of him once, and then, he had followed and slyly killed him 18 times. His equipment shone brightly. His level had dropped by 5 levels, and in the end, he didn't even dare to drop any spring water. "Did you King not slap your face enough yesterday?" Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He rushed forward and directly stood in front of Zhao Yiqian, his eyes gleaming with cold light. His aura instantly suppressed Zhao Yiqian. Zhao Yiqian's expression also changed. His body couldn't help but tremble as he asked, "What are you trying to do?" At this time, Zhao Yiqian's bodyguard immediately rushed over and shouted, "Along, what are you planning to do? Do you know who he is? If you dare touch the 7th Prince, I'll kill you. Kid, you better be more tactful." The 8 guards surrounded Long Fei. Long Fei didn't even look at him, his eyes were still staring at Zhao Yiqian without moving, and he said coldly, "Don't act cool in front of me, or else you'll die miserably." "Understood." Finished. Without even looking at Zhao Yiqian, Long Fei walked over to the guards and shouted, "Scram." The guard hesitated for half a second before stepping aside. Xiao Dai and the rest quickly followed him. The surrounding people were slightly startled. Zhao Yiqian clenched his fists tightly, letting out a cracking sound. "You dog, if I can't kill you, your elder's surname is not Zhao." He was furious. "Boss, you're too awesome. How scared is Zhao Yiqian by you?" Ha ha ha. "This is so enjoyable." Thin Monkey could not help but laugh. The big guy also followed. "He is only at the 8th level of refinement. How can he fight with Big Boss Escalate Blood 2-stage cultivation level R? And even said that he would fight with anything, if not for Zhao Yiqian's birth. Who does he think he is?" "Exactly." The young couple agreed. Xiao Dai was a little worried. Was it Zhao Yiqian's fault for not giving us the clothes and spirit pellets? A few of them were shocked. They were now official disciples. If they didn't even give out clothes or basic cultivation pills, what would that be called? Long Fei was furious in his heart. He walked to the distribution window and immediately asked, "Why don't we have clothes?" The senior brother raised his eyes and looked at Long Fei coldly, and asked, "What's your name?" Long Fei replied. Along the senior brother casually flipped through it, and said, "Your name is not here." Long Fei said, "He clearly passed the examination already. Why is it that he doesn't have my name?" That senior brother said impatiently, "If there's nothing, there's nothing. How do I know why? Kid, move to the side. Don't get in my way. Did you hear that?" A few people behind him sneered. "Offending the great clan elder, offending His Highness 7th Prince, and you still want to stay in Xianyu sect? Who does he think he is? So what if he took first place? This world relies on strength, but identity is more important. What the hell is he? You overestimate yourself." Her voice was not loud, but Long Fei could hear her. Long Fei did not linger at the window, but walked to the other side of the door. Seeing Long Fei leaving, the senior brother in the room started laughing. "Him? It's nothing. So what if you have Escalate Blood 2 stage? Even if he is a powerhouse of the elixir realm, he would have to kneel if we ask him to lie down. Is the escalate blood 2 stage impressive? Your brain is useless. No matter how high your cultivation is, you're still trash. Just as their discussion was in full swing. Bam! A loud sound echoed out. The door behind them was kicked down by a powerful force. Long Fei stood at the door, coldly looked at the 4 senior brother S in the room and said, I am nothing, and what are you people? I overestimate myself. Then what are you too? I'm trash. Then when you are stepped on by trash, what are you? Is this garbage? Long Fei would never give in. He was even more unconvinced. If you have something to say, just say it. If you don't have a name, then you don't have a name. He won't do anything, but saying so many pieces of trash makes him unhappy. Who cares who your mother is? If he's unhappy, then many people will be even more unhappy. Seeing Long Fei standing at the door, one of the senior brother shouted, Along, what are you trying to do? You dog, where do you think this is? Trash. Before he could even finish the word trash, Long Fei slipped and with a whoosh, he landed in front of that person. Immediately after, a heavy slap landed on his face. Pa. Trash. Who's the trash? Long Fei shouted heavily. That senior brother received a slap to the face, and his entire body nearly fell to the ground from Long Fei's slap. Moreover, without waiting for him to react, Long Fei grabbed his arm and ferociously retreated. Crack. Ah! The joint is fractured. Long Fei's right leg kicked out, causing him to kneel down, and asked, Who is kneeling on the ground now? Ah! With his joints broken, the disciple screamed out in pain. His entire body was covered in cold sweat and his face was incomparably pale. No one expected Long Fei to dare do this from the very beginning. Is he crazy? When Xiao Dai and the others heard the scream, they immediately rushed in. Seeing one of the senior brother in the house had his arm broken by Long Fei, and was kneeling on the ground while screaming miserably, Xiao Dai's heart skipped a beat and immediately went forward to grab hold of Long Fei, saying, Along, don't act recklessly. Thin Monkey was also a little afraid, saying, Boss, calm down. They were just new players without any backers. It was only the first day, but he had already beaten senior brother. How could he continue to do this in the future? 3 other senior brother S recovered from their shock and one of them shouted, You want to rebel? To dare to touch senior brother, I shall see you, you useless trash. The word trash came out of his mouth. At this moment, Long Fei raised his eyes, which flashed with red light. The senior brother's heart slightly trembled. Hua! Long Fei attacked, with one leg, he kicked it. The cultivation levels of these senior brother were only at the refinement realm. Long Fei of the escalate blood 2 stage could easily destroy them. However, this time, the other 3 senior brother S came over together, but the result was the same. Bam! Crack! Ah! Bang! 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 After a few consecutive moves, all 3 senior brother S were crippled, their hands and legs broken, and they laid on the ground like dead dogs, screaming in pain. Furthermore, all of these things happened too fast. Xiao Dai was simply too late to stop them. Trash. Who's the F** king trash now? For some reason, when Long Fei heard the word trash, he felt extremely unhappy. The 4 senior brother S screamed miserably. Brat, just you wait, you injured us, I want to see how you're going to continue staying in Xianyu sect. Prepare to be expelled. You, and you, will all be chased out of Xianyu sect. It was also at this time. Guanzhen hurried over. Was no longer able to move due to the coercion, he was using all his strength to resist it. If Guanzhen attacked at this time, he would not have any chance to retaliate. This was the difference in levels. Long Fei was unhappy, extremely unhappy. For some reason, he hated it when people used their pressure to crush him. It was as if this displeasure was innate, as if such displeasure had happened many times before. Seeing Guanzhen taking a step forward, Long Fei's expression tensed up. The idea was holding on to the universal soul in the system space. He ate everything, but he did not suffer any losses. Even in front of the Emperor of Heaven, Long Fei was not afraid. Guanzhen raised it with a slap. Right at this moment, Gui Qingshan appeared like a ghost and his voice slightly trembled. Elder Guan, stop. There was a powerful force in his voice. At this moment, Long Fei's state of mind relaxed, and the pressure Guanzhen released instantly disappeared. The pressure loosened and Long Fei's body regained his freedom. The anger in Long Fei's heart exploded as he said, "Suppression? This father will K your entire family." The sky sword slightly moved. Buzz. The sound of the clashing of swords was ear-piercing. Long Fei leaped up. He directly broke through the roof. The rubble fell down. The new disciples outside were all stunned. The roof has been punctured. Who is that person? Damn, what is that kid trying to do? Don't tell me he was thrown out of the roof by Patriarch Guan. What are you doing? At this time, Gui Qingshan's expression secretly changed. Long Fei's sword strike. He had seen it before in the Wild Boar Valley. Gui Qingshan was secretly shocked. Crap. Long Fei's eyes also turned sinister. He could feel a strong fighting intent from Long Fei as he broke through the rooftop in a single leap, and his heart was filled with unhappiness. A puny new disciple actually dared to attack an elder. If I don't teach you a lesson today, I'm not Guanzhen. He was also angry. He was an elder, after all. The head of the Law Enforcement Hall. The head of the Martial Hall. A new disciple daring to ride on his head. Then what about his prestige as the pavilion master? Guanzhen raised his eyes, stared at Long Fei who was in mid-air and spoke solemnly. Trash, the Escalate Blood 2 stage dares to be so presumptuous in front of me, you're courting death. Gui Qingshan quickly said, Brother Guan, there must be a misunderstanding. Xiao Dai said anxiously, Uncle Guan, they were the ones who bullied us first, that's why Long took action. Thin Monkey was so anxious that cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Oh no, this time we're in trouble. Not only did we injure senior brother, we have to make a move on the elders. We are finished. We will definitely be expelled from the Xianyu sect. The big size man was slightly angry. If you want to be expelled, then expel. If Xianyu sect really has such a sect, then I might as well go home and kill pigs. The young couple had complicated looks in their eyes. In the distance, halfway up the mountain, there was a pavilion. Yi Yorong looked in the direction of the training hall with interest. Looking at Long Fei who had broken through the roof, she could not help but laugh. What kind of move is this? I really haven't seen it before. Flying into the sky. Do you think you're a birdman? And flying into the sky. Suddenly, Yi Yorong's eyes changed drastically. Her gaze darkened as she stared straight at Long Fei. This sword move. Long Fei's body swooped down, and with the sky sword in hand, his figure continuously floated outwards, one after another. In just a short moment, he seemed to have sent dozens of figures flying. Moreover, each shadow had a different move. Under the sun. Like a fairy dancing. It came from beyond the heavens. Yi Yorong was also a swordsman, but he was still a swordsman. He had never seen such a miraculous sword technique before, and was extremely shocked in his heart. He really does have many secrets. He. Then it's even more impossible for you to escape from my grasp. Hey. Pressure crushed your father. Now let's see who dares to teach who a lesson. You old trash. Long Fei bellowed, his heart moving, sky, outside, flying immortal. At this moment, Guanzhen was stunned. Because he was crushed by each and every one of the powerful sword intents, and when he watched Long Fei swoop down, this strike, he of the Golden Protector level actually did not know how to resist. Chapter 2255 Expulsion from Xianyu Sect. Chapter 2255 Expulsion from Xianyu Sect. Fairy from Heaven, Dugu City's ultimate move. This move was like an immortal descending from heaven, it was unstoppable. Moreover, the sword intent was astonishingly powerful. Last time in Wild Boar Valley, Bulldrome was killed by this exact attack. Gui Qingshan had thought about it for a few days but still couldn't think of a way to break it. When he saw Long Fei breaking through the rooftop with a single leap, his heart sank. Guanzhen was overwhelmed with shock. This sword strike. He did not know how to defend himself at all. His entire body was surrounded by the powerful sword intent. Sword intent. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sword chime. The entire room was in chaos. Thin Monkey asked, "What is that sound?" Xiao Dai slightly said, "The voice of the sword, along, he." She raised her eyes to look at Long Fei, who was swooping down, and she was stunned. Ah! Guanzhen let out a furious roar. His aura had already become berserk and chaotic. His state of mind was being affected by the surrounding sword intense. He could not block this strike. Gui Qingshan frowned. If Guanzhen was injured by him, or if he was killed, then Long Fei and the rest would be expelled from Xianyu sect even if they did not die. No. Gui Qingshan's heart trembled. The potential that Long Fei had exploded forth was one that he had never seen before. He liked this brat more and more. Maybe Long Fei could help him. I can't let anything happen to him. Immediately, Gui Qingshan's body sunk down slightly. We cannot let alone his body continued to churn. Xiao Dai recovered from the shock, at his mind and heart, his internal organs, and if not for his cultivation being higher than Long Fei, he would have been heavily injured. At this moment, Gui Qingshan's aura became heavy, his power started to surge, and his cultivation became even more powerful. Rushing forward, his heart shouting out with joy. After stabilizing himself, the pressure immediately rushed out and suddenly exploded from the smoke gun. Along, it began to spin. The fairy from heaven could not bear it any longer. Long Fei was a little and trembling unceasingly as rubble was continuously sent flying out. But he was held up by one of sand and rock strength and did not fall. It was hard to open one's eyes. Long Fei looked at Gui Qingshan. Everyone was scared silly. I'm very calm. What a powerful sword intent. Long Fei looked at Guanzhen and said, "He's at least an expert of the elixir without asking questions. He's too powerful. It's not right for me to injure your disciple. Yurong was also why don't you ask the reason?" He muttered. "Why don't we have the clothes of an official disciple? Is even more profound. Why aren't we cultivating the guardian of the Wei family?" Long Fei's heart was filled with anger. Intent alone, even if the fairy from heaven was blocked, is still inferior to that hooligan. Afraid. In the blink of an eye, the power of the universal soul, the sword and the moves collided. He was sure that the sword intention would not be able to stop it. Clashed. Guanzhen's face turned sinister. The sword even though from the surroundings of the house helped him block one after another moves, all because of the amazing sword had completely disgraced him. However, Guanzhen glanced at them, then looked at the 4 shivering disciples and shouted, "What exactly happened? How could those 4 have thought of such a situation?" Moreover, Long Fei, this madman, actually dared to attack even the clan elder, and the clan elder was barely holding on. A disciple stammered, unable to speak. Guanzhen walked forward to flip through the list of names, and when he saw the list of names, his expression darkened. The name of the list smashed ruthlessly onto the disciple's face, and he shouted angrily, "What's going on? Their names are clearly on the name list. Why do you say that they're not there?" A disciple suddenly knelt down and said, "Hall Master, we did not see it just now. We were blind, we were wrong." Next, the 4 of them knelt down. "You didn't see it?" Long Fei sneered, and said, "From what I see, you guys didn't see it on purpose, right?" Guanzhen's expression changed, and he said, "There are too many names on the list, so not seeing them is also a very normal thing. You can ask them to look up again in more detail. But you kick down the door and attack. Let's not talk about injuring them, but they still want to attack me." Long Fei said, "They asked for it." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Gui Qingshan hurriedly said, "Brother Guan, it's all a misunderstanding. The anger of a young person is just too great. If you have too much, don't lower yourself to the level of a junior. That brat was a bit too rash just now. I brought him to apologize to you." Gui Qingshan said, "I'll definitely teach him a good lesson when we get back." Xiao Dai was a little puzzled. "Father, they were obviously the ones who bullied us first," Thin Monkey said. "That's right, they didn't even look at the name. They just said that we don't have a name." One of the disciples said, "We did not. We did not find anything. You were just overbearing. We did not say anything." Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and he said, "Seems like the fight just now wasn't heavy enough. How dare you?" With a loud shout, Yi Changfeng's eyes burned with fire at the entrance. Not far behind him, Zhao Yitian was laughing complacently. Yi Changfeng looked at Guanzhen and said, "Beat senior brother up, and attack the elders without reason. I see that you have other intentions to enter the Xianyu sect, and this person must be expelled from the Xianyu sect." Zhao Yitian laughed proudly. "You overestimate yourself. Obviously. It was all his doing. Otherwise. The great elder of the Pill Pavilion wasn't in the Pill Pavilion, So why would he suddenly appear in the martial hall? Guan Zhen was also shocked. No matter how foolish he was, he knew that he had been used. Gui Qingshan slightly said, Great Elder, is a long wrong, or is it a grave mistake? This should be under the jurisdiction of the Law Enforcement Hall, right? Yi Changfeng sneered, and said, Gui Qingshan, when did it become your turn to speak? Huh? Yi Changfeng laughed disdainfully. Gui Qingshan didn't have any authority in the Xianyu sect. Even elite disciples didn't put him in their eyes, let alone the great elder. Moreover, Gui Qingshan offended Zhao Yitian. Yi Changfeng looked at Gui Qingshan, and said, Gui Qingshan, you are the one who brought him to the Xianyu sect. Who exactly is he? Why did you take him up the mountain? Do you want to explain? If you can't explain it clearly, then get out of Xianyu sect with me. With a cold voice, Yi Changfeng glared at him coldly. Thank you for your support. Chapter 256, Laozi has given you face, right? Chapter 256, Laozi has given you face, right? The matter regarding the assessment yesterday had caused Yi Changfeng to lose a lot of face. Not only was the seventh prince dissatisfied with him, he had also made him lose face in front of so many people. Although what happened this morning was arranged by the seventh prince, it was actually planned by him as well. He thought that Guan Zhen's strength was enough to crush Long Fei. However, he did not expect that he would be unable to suppress it, and that's why he showed his face. Gui Qingshan blocking in front was the best. If both of them were to be expelled from Mystic Moon Mountain, then whatever they did would have nothing to do with Xianyu sect. They would absolutely not be able to leave the region of the southern county. Gui Qingshan's eyes darkened. Long Fei was not a soft persimmon. Even if his cultivation was not high now, he could not allow others to simply sit on his head and piss on his head, and directly scolded, Who the hell do you think you are? What right do you have to tell us to leave? If others displeased him, his method would be multiplied to displease others. The tone of his voice was the same. Yi Changfeng's eyes opened wide, and the pressure on his body trembled. Boom! It was as if the mountain had exploded, and a powerful pressure came crushing down. His cultivation could not be compared with Guan Zhen. His aura was strong and ferocious. Long Fei was unable to resist. However, Long Fei was not afraid from the start. The idea moved, holding on to the universal soul in the system space, and thought in his heart, Damn you, when your pressure falls, will be when your life end. F***CK. It really wasn't a joke. As long as Yi Changfeng's pressure fell, Long Fei would not hesitate to use the universal soul. He had never been the one to suffer a loss. Gui Qingshan's eyes moved slightly as he felt a strong pressure pressing down on him. His body moved slightly as he said, Great Clan Elder, please calm your anger. His voice was calm. However, it was precisely because of this voice that Yi Changfeng's oppressive aura was immediately blocked. Yi Changfeng's expression slightly changed, and said, Calm down? This brat thinks highly of everyone. Who knows what he will do if he stays in the Xianyu sect? If I can't teach him a lesson today, then I, Yi Changfeng, will write the 2 words backward. Anger. Yi Changfeng turned his right hand, Wang. One Dao seal after another fell into his hands. Gui Qingshan's face changed, Fang Tian Dao seal? Guan Zhen was also shocked. A low-rank high-rank spiritual treasure, Fang Tian Dao seal? Xiao Dai immediately approached Long Fei and said, Along, be careful, this spiritual treasure is very savage. Fang Tian Dao seal, the great treasure of the Xianyu sect. This was also Yi Changfeng's strongest spirit treasure. The Dao seal had a strong power to crush others. It was like a place with the heavens and earth tightly locking down. He couldn't move. A low-rank high-soul treasure was unshakable. Being crushed by the Fang Tian Dao seal, Long Fei was unable to move. Zhao Yitian laughed. Laughing complacently, he said, You dog trash, you want to fight me? Do you think you can beat me? Ha ha ha. Kill him. Kill him. Zhao Yitian smiled widely. It was obvious that Yi Changfeng wanted to kill him. If not, he would not have summoned his most powerful spirit treasure. Earthly soul treasure? Long Fei was a little disdainful. He said, You're showing off your trash? Long Fei was extremely disdainful. Spirit treasures were divided into 9 grades. Above them were earth-ranked, spirit-ranked, heaven-ranked, and divine-ranked. Tell the truth. Really did not take the land-level treasure seriously. The lizard fiery berserk blade that he obtained from killing the colorful lizard last time was exchanged for by him. He did not leave anything behind at all, because he really did not have any interest in it. You're courting death. Yi Changfeng roared, and the Fang Tiandao seal began to move. Long Fei growled. Let's see who's courting death. The idea moved, the universal soul was ready to burst out at any time. But, at this moment, a cold voice rang out. Stop. Yi Yorong's voice. Yi Changfeng's face sank, but, at this moment, he didn't care that much. With a move of the Fang Tiandao seal, he smashed down heavily. It was too sudden. Long Fei thought that Yi Changfeng did not dare to move. To think that. His expression turned vicious. Damn, this despicable old dog. Rainbow barrier. Buzz. Long Fei was not afraid, there was an additional shield on his body. Only then did the 7-colored shield burst out from the colorful lizard's body. It brought with it a rainbow-colored glow. This was a skill, but it had a longer cooldown. However, Long Fei did not know how strong its defense was, and was unsure in his heart. Merely having more than 1000 HP on his HP bar was not safe, as his current level was too low after all. Yi Changfeng at the peak of the Elixir S was able to kill him in one move. A long boss. Everything was too fast. Even Gui Qingshan couldn't react in time. Even a high-grade Earthstep soul treasure would not be able to block it so easily, much less at such a sudden moment. Yi Changfeng sneered in his heart, Brat, go and die. Dao Seal Crush. He was not afraid of Yi Yorong. Because his backer was the Zhao family, the current dynasty. Even if he killed Long Fei right in front of Yi Yorong, he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. However, boom. The Fang Tiandao seal smashed down. Long Fei stood where he was without moving. His body was wrapped up by a rainbow-colored shield, and the Fang Tiandao seal was actually unable to suppress him, and was floating on top of his head. It just couldn't break through the 7-colored barrier. Long Fei slightly raised his eyes, seeing that the Fang Tiandao seal could not suppress it, he immediately laughed out wildly, ha ha ha. Crushing your father? You want to kill me to keep my mouth shut? F***CK. Come on. Come kill me. Ha ha ha. The 7-colored barrier was something dropped by the great 7 rating monster and beasts. How could it be weak? Colorful Lizard was a super boss. A king-level existence among 7 rating monster and beasts S. How could it be weak? The land-level treasure was not qualified. Everyone was stunned. Especially Yi Yorong, because she had seen colorful lizard before, so she knew what kind of demon beast it was. She also saw this kind of rainbow shield appear on the colorful lizard's body, but it actually appeared on Long Fei's body. How is this possible? Thin Monkey opened his mouth wide and became excited. Wow! The boss is too handsome. The big bloke followed. Even the land-level treasure can block it. How mighty and domineering. Xiao Dai was also extremely shocked. He rubbed his eyes, thinking that his eyes had gone blurry. Gui Qingshan was extremely excited. If there were happy people, there would naturally be people who were unhappy. Zhao Etian immediately scolded, Yi Changfeng, you can't even F***king deal with a waste of escalate blood 2 stage? He's really a piece of trash. He was very unhappy with Yi Changfeng. However, although Yi Changfeng was a elixir, his main cultivation was in the alchemy. His attainments in the area of martial arts training were not deep, and he was unable to unleash his strongest power while wielding the Fang Tiandao seal. However, after all, he was a powerhouse of the elixir realm. The strongest spirit treasure that had been blocked by Long Fei had lost all its face, which also made the anger in Yi Changfeng's heart even more intense. Yi Yorong's figure moved. Long Fei smirked, fuck, did I give you some face? The sky sword at his waist moved. Chapter 2257, The Power of Sky Sword. Chapter 2257, The Power of Sky Sword. This time, I have to endure it. Again. I can't stand it. Since you don't want face, then just give it a good slap. Yi Changfeng felt extremely displeased when his power once again surged into the Fang Tiandao seal. Moreover, more importantly, the seven-colored barrier had a time limit. It was almost time. When the time came, the defenses disappeared and the Fang Tiandao seal smashed down. Long Fei was afraid that he would die instantly. This wanted his life. How could he tolerate this? Long Fei squinted his eyes became gloomy and cold. You really don't want face. Without waiting for Yi Yorong to get close, the sky sword in Long Fei's hand suddenly moved. At this moment, the seven-colored barrier was put away by Long Fei, and the sky sword pushed the barrier forward with her sword, shouting in her heart, "Break!" The rusty sky sword was lying on top of the Fang Tiandao seal. At this moment, the Fang Tiandao seal smashed down, and the two spirit treasures clashed. Yi Changfeng sneered, "You are overestimating yourself. You want to compare a trash sword with my land-level treasure? Ha ha ha. You are just like this rotten sword. Are you worthy?" Zhao Yitian also laughed. How laughable, truly ridiculous. A trash iron sword wants to block a low-rank soul treasure? Is he retarded or is he courting death? Brat, prepare to die. On one side was an Earth Stage high-rank spiritual treasure, an important treasure of the Xianyu sect. On one side was a rusted iron sword. Not to mention the Earth Stage, it wasn't even at the first rank. Just these two spirit treasures clashing? He didn't even need to think about the consequences. The iron sword would be crushed into powder and instantly vaporize. The competition of soul treasure was about its level. The higher the level, the stronger it would be. This is bad. Along is in danger. Xiao Dai started to worry. Thin Monkey was also worried. How can iron sword be a match for the land-level treasure? This is bad. If I can't block it with my steel sword, my boss will be in danger. The big bloke was also extremely worried. Yi Yorong moved. She didn't want Long Fei to die, because Long Fei had many secrets. She had personally witnessed Long Fei giving pills to the chimp, and the ape becoming level 9 from level 7. Just this spirit pill could not let Long Fei die. Similarly, Gui Qingshan also moved. He could not let Long Fei die either, because he saw hope in Long Fei. At this moment, Gui Qingshan's powerful aura slightly moved, and everything shot out. Yi Changfeng laughed coldly and said, "No one can save him. Arrogant in front of me, he is courting death." Yi Changfeng shouted heavily. In this situation, Long Fei was definitely going to die. No one could stop it. The Fang Tiandao seal would definitely suppress Long Fei into a pile of meat paste. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yi Changfeng and Zhao Yitian could not help but laugh out loud. While they were laughing with pride, the two soul treasures clashed against each other. At the same time, a crisp crackling sound rang out. Catcher! The sound of a stone cracking was heard. Yi Changfeng looked over in the blink of an eye, and said complacently, "A mere iron sword dares to shake my Fang Tiandao seal, and Star's Pet Chain Supermarket even dares to compete with Haoyue." However, suddenly, his expression froze, and he looked like a retard. What was cracking was not Long Fei's iron sword, but his Fang Tiandao seal. The moment he touched it, his Fang Tiandao seal was like a ceramic pot. Instantly. Furthermore, the moment it broke, it quickly turned into powder. Crack. Buzz. The entire Fang Tiandao seal ruptured. It shattered into dozens of pieces, and the power within the Fang Tiandao seal seemed to be unable to withstand some kind of powerful energy and was directly scattered outwards. A dozen or so fragments of Dao seals were floating in the air. Everyone was dumbfounded. They were all shocked. It was like looking at a monster. At this moment, the sky sword suddenly moved, Shua, a charge. As he flew through the air, the dozen or so floating fragments of the Fang Tiandao seal instantly turned into dust and disappeared into the air. The sky sword also fell from the sky. Clang. Falling beside Long Fei picked up the sky sword and patted off the dust on it. It was still stained with rust, and also had no rank. But it was strong. Long Fei hung it on his waist, and stared straight at Yi Changfeng, giving a thing that doesn't care about face. Isn't that great? Incomparable dominance. There was not a single sound that could be heard in the entire room. They were all stupefied by the shocking scene that just occurred. The Fang Tiandao seal was shattered by a rotten sword. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? This. How is that possible? My eyes must be blurry. Impossible. That's absolutely impossible. That's a great treasure of the Xian Yu sect. That's a Fang Tiandao seal that has been passed down for hundreds of years. Why can't it be compared to a broken sword? Holy **T, what's going on? They all stood there in a daze and muttered to themselves. It was too shocking. Yi Yorong stared at the rusted sword on Long Fei's waist. He could not find any clues, it was just an ordinary metal sword. Gui Qingshan kept staring at the iron sword, but he could not find any clues. What kind of sword was this? Or could it be? Long Fei hid himself too deeply. The spirit treasure's impact just now was actually caused by him using some kind of powerful force. To be able to destroy the land-level treasure, how strong was that power? Then, Gui Qingshan rejected it immediately. It definitely could not be power. His eyes could not help but look at Yi Yorong. Is there really a need to deal with me like that? Yi Yorong stared at him, his killing intent becoming denser. He said, "What did you say?" Long Fei immediately shut his mouth, but in his heart, he was not happy, and said, "The higher the level, the more amazing it is, right? Just you wait. If I can't take revenge, I'll just shit on the floor." **CK. Old Fire had already woken up. However, speaking of which, Long Fei didn't want to leave the Xian Yu sect. At least there was a place to stay. The Zhenwu continent was a large world, but there was no place for him to settle in. He was completely unfamiliar with this world. And then again, a yellow exclamation mark kept floating above Yi Yorong's head. Was he trying to trigger a quest? At the same time, she was also one of the clues on the mission of Long Fei's ultimate mission, the Seven Meets painting. What was the result of the mission? Long Fei also couldn't explain it in his heart, but he felt that it would make him incomparably strong. "You're not saying anymore?" Yi Yorong said coldly. Long Fei did not reply. Yi Yorong said again, "Where is the law enforcement hall?" Guanzhen immediately replied, "I'm here." Yi Yorong said, "Take him to Cece Cliff for me. Without my order, no one is allowed to get close to him." Guanzhen said, "Understood." Long Fei was also brought out by two disciples. At this time, Yi Yorong turned around and looked at Xiao Dai and the others, and asked, "Who still wants to say anything?" Xiao Dai said, "Sister Yorong, it's obviously." Yi Yorong immediately said, "Accomplice, you are not allowed to join any great hall. Without official disciples to serve you, and without an exception, you are not allowed to enter Kung Fu Storage Pavilion, and are not allowed to take any elders as disciples." Then, Yi Yorong continued, "Who else has something to say?" The thin monkey and the big size man were unhappy at the same time, and said, "You are a female tyrant." Without waiting for them to say anything, Yi Yorong repeated himself. Who else? Yi Yorong was incomparably domineering. Thin monkey and the big size man could not help but look at the young couple, but their heads were lowered, not like the thin monkey and the others, making them feel sad. Yi Yorong laughed with satisfaction. "Since no one has spoken, then let's disperse." Following that, after walking out of the house with large steps, the black scale carving descended and Yi Yorong instantly jumped forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Poochie. A mouthful of black blood gushed out. Yi Yorong's face suddenly turned pale white, an intense pain came from her abdomen. Her expression did not change at all, as she looked at Reflection Cliff and revealed a slight smile. "I told you, you wouldn't be able to escape from my palms. Humph. Thank you for your support." Chapter 29. Would you like to see it one day? Chapter 29. Would you like to see it one day? How preposterous. How preposterous. My Fang Tiandao seal. Pill Pavilion. Yi Changfeng's fury was burning as he paced back and forth in the hall. The bloodshot look in his eyes had not disappeared, but the anger in his heart had not died down. The Fang Tiandao seal was his only land-level treasure. It was also his most treasured soul treasure, but now, it just disappeared. How could he not be angry? Zhao Etian sat on the teacher's chair at the side, knocking his legs together. He did not care about Yi Changfeng's anger at all, and instead spoke with a look of disdain. You can't even take care of a mere new disciple, yet you want to become my teacher? Suddenly, Yi Changfeng slightly paused, and stared straight at Zhao Etian. His eyes were cold. Zhao Etian's expression shook, revealing a trace of fear. What? Am I wrong? He was quite dissatisfied with Yi Changfeng. Yi Changfeng said solemnly, if it wasn't for your highness, I'm afraid my Fang Tiandao seal wouldn't have been destroyed too. Zhao Etian sneered. What? You're blaming me? Yi Changfeng, you can only blame that young sect master of yours. With that trash strength, he was able to shatter a low-ranked soul treasure. I wouldn't believe it even if I were beaten to death. Yi Changfeng's forehead tightened slightly. He recalled it in his mind. Yi Yorong and Gui Qingshan rushed towards Long Fei at the same time. Zhao Etian continued, just with a rusted sword. Do you take us for fools? Yi Yorong controls the Xianyu sect and the guardian treasure, the Xianyu underworld wheel, is in her hands. A heaven-rank great treasure is comparable to a holy artifact. Rumor. If it strikes any spirit treasure, the spirit treasure will instantly shatter. Could it be? Zhao Etian laughed. There's no need for such a thing, it's definitely Yi Yorong's doing. No matter how powerful a waste of Escalate Blood 2 stage is, it's impossible for him to contend against a low-level spirit treasure. Say it. What on earth does my sister-in-law think? Why did she suddenly come back? Shouldn't you have come with my big brother? Did something happen? Zhao Etian muttered to himself. He knew that she was the pride of the heavens, but she was still the princess consort after all. She belonged to the royal family, so why would she side with a new disciple? Zhao Etian slightly said, did something really happen? And then, Zhao Etian shouted towards the outside of the hall, Miao Chong. Miao Chong's figure moved and landed in the hall. Zhao Etian said, send someone to God's city to understand the situation. Other than that, and also go to the southern county to send out a few more elixir experts. If you can't keep it open, then I'll hide it. I don't believe I can't kill him. Miao Chong coldly replied, me. Then it disappeared. Yi Changfeng said sinisterly, Yi Yorong. I would like to see how you, the young sect master of Xianyu sect, can continue to hold on without the support of the Pill Pavilion. Humph. Don't blame me for being heartless. On a barren hillside, Gui Qingshan looked in the direction of the cliff and squatted in the corner, smoking a pipe. His mind was also thinking about what had happened today. Was it Yi Yorong's doing? If we can shatter the Fang Tiandao seal, I'm afraid only the Xianyu underworld will can do it. To openly offend Yi Changfeng, is she not afraid? Seems like something really happened to God. Gui Qingshan puffed a few mouthfuls of smoke as he stood up and looked in the direction of Sisi Cliff. Yi Luxian. Suddenly, a black shadow descended. Gui Qingshan's expression shook. In that instant, Gui Qingshan also disappeared along with the black figure. What happened today? Both Gui Qingshan and Yi Changfeng suspected that it was Yi Yorong who did it. After all, the Xianyu underworld wheel was in her hands. A heaven-ranked divine weapon was able to easily shatter an earth-ranked divine weapon. Only she was able to do this. However, but Yi Yorong was suspicious of Gui Qingshan. Because she knew Gui Qingshan's identity. He was a great general of the previous dynasty, and was one of the 10 great powerhouse sword saint, Gui Qingshan. It could be said that it was an easy feat for him to destroy the land-level treasure. Yi Yorong thought, seems like this boy is Gui Qingshan's man. At this moment, a black robe descended. Yi Yorong immediately stood up and said, Elder Ming. Beneath the black robe was the old man with the Ming clan's imprint on his forehead. He said lightly, Zhao Etian sent someone to the divine capital but I stopped it. Yi Yorong's expression trembled, and said, that fast? The Netherworld elder said slightly, your actions these few days are too abnormal. Zhao Etian is a prince of the Zhao family after all. Yi Yorong said, the matter regarding the Xianyu sect cannot be spread to the divine capital right now. The current capital. She did not continue. Elder Ming said slightly, the crown prince's life is in ruins. If Zhao Wuji were to make a move, once your injuries are discovered, I'm afraid that this matter cannot be concealed. The people of the Zhao family were not idiots. Yi Yurong nodded and said, I know, that's why we don't have much time remaining. Elder Ming said faintly, your injuries. Yi Yurong smiled lightly and said, it's fine, I can still persevere. Elder Ming said, Ming clan once left behind the great art of underworld shift, but it's just that. Most of these Ming clan techniques have been destroyed, and even if they were left behind, nobody knows where they would have landed. If the Ming clan's techniques were still intact, then your injuries would also. How powerful was the Ming clan in the past? The #1 clan in Universal Large World. At that time, the God's tribe was still nowhere to be found, but now. Elder Ming's expression was somewhat gloomy. Yi Yurong said, Elder Ming, you don't have to worry about me. I will persevere. As Elder Ming spoke, she clenched her fists and said with a heavy heart, God's tribe. Thinking over the cliff. The third side was a wall, while the other side was a wall facing the wind. Looking at the sky full of stars, Long Fei muttered, how the F***K will 1 month be spent? People are going crazy. Sigh. While they were talking, Long Fei took out the sky sword and muttered, the sword's power is truly extraordinary. At that time, he had not even used the slightest bit of his strength. He had relied entirely on the sword's own strength. He had not thought that the sword would shatter into pieces, let alone shatter into powder. How fierce was this? Sky sword. A single sword strike to destroy the heavens? Or is it the #1 sword technique in the entire sky? Seeing the rust on its body, Long Fei felt as if it was covered with some kind of seal, and he couldn't help but think of himself. My memories. Was he also trapped by the seal? Why do people keep flashing through my mind? Who was the baldy carrying the coffin? Who was this evil spirit? Who was that fat guy? Furthermore, there was one big black knife on his back. Who was that girl from the wings of the phoenix? Why did it appear in my mind? Who are these people? Long Fei really wanted to know. But no matter how he thought about it, he still couldn't remember. Maybe we can meet one day. Chapter 2260 DNF Skills, Phantom Sword Dance. Chapter 2260 DNF Skills, Phantom Sword Dance. Early morning. The first rays of the sun shone on Reflection Crossing cliffs. Long Fei stretched. Picking up the sky sword, he walked up to the peak of Reflection Cliff and started dancing. A left slash, a right slash, the previous slash, and another sweep. There was no pattern at all. After using this set of sword arts, he immediately forgot about it. In the entire morning, Zhongxian had managed to cultivate all kinds of smelly sweat without achieving anything else. From this, Long Fei came to a conclusion. Looks like my comprehension ability is really poor. It's only at Earth's level, I'm afraid. We can only cultivate it by relying on the cultivation techniques of the system or the prizes from the lottery. Without the sword manual, he could not cultivate. This was a normal warrior in Zhenwu continent. However, where's Long Fei? Even with the peerless sword manual in front of him, he would not be able to comprehend anything. His comprehension ability was still stuck on Earth, so he didn't know anything about cultivation techniques at all. No monsters, it can't be dropped. There's no lottery, and I can't draw either. I can't do anything from here on across the cliff. Long Fei was depressed in his heart, but when he opened up the system to have a look, his eyes lit up. Rub. How could I have forgotten that? There's no lottery, but there's an exchange market. Immediately. Long Fei immediately opened the exchange hall. Ding. Do you want to check the exchange value? Yes, sir. Exchange value, 3,080 points. Long Fei had dropped a few things and exchanged them all. And then, Long Fei also entered the trading market to check. Looking at the things in the trading market, Long Fei's saliva couldn't help but flow as he spoke. Divine Breaking Whip. Wow, Jiangxia's holy artifact. Windfire Wheel, Neza's thing. They're all amazing things. But, damn, the God-slaying whip's exchange value is 1 million. Your sister. Are you F***King joking with me? Long Fei cursed angrily in his heart. Windfire Wheel, exchange value, 800,000 points. Supreme Purity Dao Father Body. Exchange value, 999999999. Jade Emperor Avatar. Exchange value 1000000. Countless. F***ck your sister. After rummaging for a long time, he did not find anything that could be whispered with 10 million exchange value. All the things inside were extremely dangerous, but they were not things that Long Fei could exchange for. He kept flipping and flipping. After flipping to the very end of the shopping mall, finally, Long Fei saw something that he could exchange for. Level 1 Caterpillar Avatar, exchange value 10 points. Merchant Shop, Deception Merchant Shop. Appraisal completed. Long Fei immediately acted as if he had closed the store, but at the last moment, his expression became serious. Skills. A dark thing. The words skill, seal, were written on it, which meant that the skill had been blocked by the seal. Exchanging for it could be the most trashy thing in the world. It could also be a holy artifact. Exchange value 3080 points. Long Fei glanced at his own exchange value and said, "Damn, system, you did this on purpose, right? Just enough to exchange for it. Fight. Since there's no use with 3000 exchange value, let's take a gamble." Long Fei's heart sank slightly, and he said, "Exchange." Ding. The exchange was successful. Congratulations to player Long Fei for acquiring skill * seal. Do you want to unlock the seal? As long as he bought it, he would be able to unlock the seal. Long Fei slightly said, "Wait first. Open the box and look at my luck." Long Fei spat on his palm, rubbed his hands together, and then took out the Sky Sword, and said, "Sky Sword, brother, lend me some luck." Immediately, Long Fei looked up to the sky and said faintly, "Old master, can you please bestow me with a powerful strength?" Open. The idea moved. The seal on the black skill disappeared. Long Fei closed his eyes and did not look. It was also at this time. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Phantom Sword Dance. Do you wish to cultivate it? As soon as he finished, Long Fei was startled, and was a little unable to react. What is it? In that instant, Long Fei entered the system to check. Looking at the skill in the system dimension, Long Fei's body trembled. My good boy. The skill of Underground City and Warrior Ghostblade. Moreover, Phantom Sword Dance, this is a skill that Ghostblade is very powerful. He could actually draw skills from the previous timeline. Holy sh**t. Ha ha ha. It's about to be posted. Cultivate. Long Fei did not hesitate at all and immediately clicked on Cultivate. Sword skills, Phantom Sword Dance rank, Heaven Stage level 9 consumption, 0, level 1 consumption, 0 points, level 2 consumption increase. Cooldown, 180 seconds. Description, consecutive slashes to enemies. The final attack releases a sharp sword chi that causes a heavy impact. The effect of a heavy blow depends on the superposition of the continuous slashes. This is the move of a ghost blade. It's a bit different, but it's definitely true. Long Fei was extremely excited. He had played this game before, and it was a ghost blade. Heh. Your father's Sky Sword has space to unleash. Fairy from Heaven was just too gorgeous and was incredibly powerful, much stronger than the Phantom Sword Dance, but the cooldown time of the Fairy from Heaven was too long. One use is basically not enough. The Phantom Sword Dance was different. It had a cooldown of 3 minutes, which meant that the amount of energy used in the early stages was relatively less. Cultivate. Long Fei immediately began cultivating. In the past, he was only a character in a game, but now he was practicing and releasing his skills. The effect was completely different. However, Long Fei was a professional. For this kind of familiar technique, his hand speed was extremely fast. According to the description of the skill, the most crucial part of this set of Phantom Sword Dance is its speed. The more slashes are made in front of it, the higher the damage added on. What I want to learn now is the speed at which to strike. There was no other way to increase his speed. He could only practice from drawing his sword to slashing again and again. Shua. Long Fei did not stop as he continued to cultivate. Without demon beast killed, he would not be able to level up, and his strength would not be able to receive an increase either. If he wanted to become strong, he had to become strong in order to complete the system's quest. Training skills was also a way to become stronger. Sure. He checked and tested again and again, but there was nothing fancy about it. 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 100,000 times. Long Fei continued to train relentlessly. Half a month passed. Other than the disciples who delivered food to him every day, Long Fei did not see anyone else. Of course. He did not know that the black scale carving was staring at him from afar. You sure are hardworking. It's just that. Is this kind of training method of his useful? Yi Yurong smiled faintly. This is the most common sword form. The Escalate Blood 2 stage is still in the process of cultivating this kind of low-level sword technique. It is of no help to him at all. Once a month, there will be a new person taking the test. This is your first chance, maybe. You can become an elite disciple. Perhaps. You will become a service disciple sweeping the floor. Chapter 2261, You Are My Woman. Chapter 2261, You Are My Woman. He only had 1 month's time to give the new disciples. There will be a general exam in a month. The entrance exam was very strict, but compared to the general exam, this exam was much stricter, and it would also determine your future path even more. When he displayed his talent. With extraordinary talent, he would become an elite disciple and enter the elite hall. His talent was average, but he had become an ordinary disciple. With such low aptitude, he would become a service disciple and be in charge of food and accommodation in the Xianyu sect. After 3 years, he would leave the. This month is crucial. On a barren hillside. Xiao Dai, the big-size man and thin monkey were all seated cross-legged. He introduced true essence to temper his body. Suddenly, boom! There was a dull sound. The big guy opened his eyes and got excited. Ha ha ha. I've broken through. The second time, I've already reached the 5th grade refining body. Thin monkey rolled his eyes at him and said, Look at how happy you are. Isn't it just a 5th grade refining body martial artist? I broke through last night. You're really slow. As he spoke, he also revealed a complacent expression. The big guy scratched his head and said innocently, Me is retarded, so I can't compete with you guys. Xiao Dai slightly said, Tall guy, you're not stupid. This time we might be able to enter the elite hall. At that time, even Yi Changfeng might not be able to take care of us. Thin monkey said, Really? Even Yi Changfeng couldn't control it. I will definitely take revenge for my boss when the time comes. If it wasn't for him, my boss wouldn't have been locked up in CC Cliff. Xiao Dai exhaled a breath of air. I wonder how Along is doing now. There are only a few more days until the exam. The Escalate Blood 2 stage cultivation was very strong, but it would undergo a huge change in a month's time. Forget about Zhao Yitian, his cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds in these 20 days. With the help of Yi Changfeng's spirit pills and his Emperor's Qi, his cultivation had already reached the 5th grade of the blood refinement realm. It could be said that it was like flying. Of course. Zhao Yitian's talent is very strong. The Zhao family possessed an Emperor's Qi and was also a ruler of 9 or 5 years old. The most important point was that the ancestor of the Zhao family, Zhao Chongshan, was an outer disciple of the God's tribe and was bestowed with a God's tribe imprint. Anyone who had such a God's tribe imprint would have a trace of the power of the God's tribe's blood vein. Zhao Yitian naturally received benefits as well. Every single person in the Zhao family had an innate skill at the peak of this world, and it was only because of the God's tribe's blood vein. This was because the God's tribe was the sky. No matter how powerful the powerhouse was, no matter how powerful a person was, they would not be able to fight against the heavens. Within the borders of the Zhenwu continent, the Zhao family was the sky. They had the strongest blood vein, the strongest talent, an incomparable, untouchable existence. This was also the reason. It was only because of this that Zhao Yitian's cultivation was able to advance by leaps and bounds. His strength was far greater than the average martial artist of his generation. Other than Zhao Yitian, the speed at which the Zhu family members broke through was also extremely fast, as all of them stepped into the escalated blood stage. However, their breakthrough was not real breakthrough, but rather, they had deliberately suppressed their cultivation when they entered the Xianyu sect, and the Blackstone had not detected it. Every single one of them had long since cultivated in the escalated blood stage. They were determined to win this time's general exam. As long as they entered the elite hall, they would be able to enter the Xianyu sect and earn points. Then, they would be able to apply for a new hall. Gradually changing to control. Don't worry, boss cultivation is definitely higher than theirs. Thin Monkey said confidently, who is my boss? They are fierce people who can kill great 7-rating monster and beasts, who among them can? The big guy also said, that's right. Xiao Dai said slightly, there are still 3 days, let's work harder. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk drawing the sword like the wind, his slash was swift like the wind. One word, quick. I can use 32 strikes in 1 second and break the restriction in the game, but it's still not enough in this world. Long Fei muttered. 32 slashes in a second? This speed. It was so fast that people were dazzled, and they couldn't see it clearly at all. However, Long Fei was still not satisfied. I'll be out in 3 days. I have to go a step further. When that time comes. Yi Yorong's cold appearance surfaced in Long Fei's mind. Let's see if you can withstand it. Long Fei swore that if he didn't beat her to the ground, she would be dead on the ground. The best way to deal with a female tyrant was to use violence to crush her. It was the same not only on cultivation, spirit, or body. Zhaog was #1 beauty. A woman with a yellow exclamation mark on her head. Long Fei had been thinking for such a long time. Could it be that if he gave her to XX, she would trigger the quest clues? It was worth a try. There are only 3 days left before a month has passed. To think that my cultivation has not increased at all. Yi Yorong was a little doubtful. For someone who had broken through to the 10th layer in just a few days, how could he not have broken through in a month? Did I make a mistake? Yi Yorong was a little puzzled in his heart. There are only 3 days left before the exam. Let's see how you respond. This was the second time she had come to see Long Fei. He was somewhat disappointed. The reason why he had imprisoned Long Fei to the reflection cliff was to protect Long Fei. At the same time, it was also to provide Long Fei with a good place to cultivate. Moreover, the heaven and earth true essence here was richer than in other places. It was the best place to cultivate in the entire Xianyu sect. It was just that. The people who were imprisoned here didn't have the mood to cultivate. Only then did no one discover this place. However, Long Fei's cultivation had disappointed her. He hadn't made any progress at all. All he knew was that he was going to have to train in such a low-level sword art. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to make any progress in the exam this time. Suddenly, Long Fei looked in Yi Yorong's direction and could not help but laugh. It's been a month since you last spied on me. Yi Yorong's face changed slightly. He looked at the black scale carving. You were discovered? The black scale carving shook its head and said, no? Yi Yorong asked coldly. So what if we find out? Then, Yi Yorong's figure moved for a few breaths of time, and then he started flying in the sky like a fairy. Very elegant. Beautiful. Peeping at you? You think you're worthy enough for me to peep into? Yi Yorong landed, stood in front of Long Fei, and shot a glance at Long Fei with a face full of frost. Let me remind you, there are only 3 days left before your new person will take the general exam. If you can't, then go become my service disciple. As Yi Yorong stood in front of him, he couldn't help but exclaim in his heart, so big. Long Fei also said with a face full of contempt, what if I can pass the examination? Yi Yorong smiled slightly, and said, the examination is easy, I will enter the elite hall, and get the qualifications to enter the secret world to cultivate. Not interested. Long Fei was not the least bit interested in entering the elite hall. What elite, what experts, they were all dogshit in his previous life. It would be better to give him a few demon beastes to kill. Yi Yorong said, then what are you interested in? Long Fei said, right. Yi Yorong asked, are you interested in me? Long Fei said, if I can pass the examination, you will be my woman. Yi Yorong's face sank, and instantly became furious. Chapter 2262 Xian Yu Sect's Gate of Life. Chapter 2262 Xian Yu Sect's Gate of Life. Flames of fury burned in his eyes. However, the pair of furious eyes suddenly disappeared and changed into a sinister and cold expression. He coldly said, "Do you want to die?" These words were laced with killing intent. An undisguised killing intent. Tyrant woman. Killing intent at the slightest disagreement. Long Fei slightly said, "I don't want to. Since you don't agree, then I am not interested in the general exam. Elite disciples and service disciples are the same to me. Anyway, I do not need to rely on your Xian Yu sect's resources to cultivate." It was indeed the same. He did not need any elixir to help in body tempering. Moreover, he didn't need rich heaven and earth true essence, so whether it was elite disciples or service disciples, they were all the same to him. Yi Yurong said coldly, "Seems like you really do not care. That's fine too. Since you don't want to participate, then you, and those friends of yours should not participate as well. Stay here at Reflection Cliff for a few more years." With that, Yi Yurong turned and left. F***CK. Long Fei said fiercely. He still did not understand Yi Yurong. Who is she? Female tyrant, you always keep your promises in the Xian Yu sect. Using her own words, her words are an order, a clan rule, who would dare to disobey? With her command, Long Fei couldn't think of a way to climb over the cliff. He didn't want to stay in Reflection Cliff for a few more years, or else he would be crippled. Let's go down the mountain first. I'll wait until I become stronger. When I raise my level, I won't be able to lower you. Long Fei swore in his heart, and then said, "I will participate." He hated being threatened the most, but this time. Yi Yurong, just you wait. Yi Yurong turned and looked at Long Fei, a little unwilling as he smiled faintly. That's more like it. When you become an elite disciple, I will give you a special reward, hey. Looking at the creepy smile, Long Fei tensed up. I better not. Yi Yurong's eyes turned sinister. You dare to reject? Long Fei was speechless. 3 days later. Long Fei walked down the Reflection Cliff after his punishment period had ended. Xiao Dai and the other two had long been waiting at the bottom of Reflection Cliff. Seeing Long Fei walk down the mountain, Xiao Dai went up to him from afar. "Along, are you alright?" The thin monkey and the big size man also walked forward and said, "Boss." Long Fei glanced at them and said, "I'm fine." He casually asked, "Then what about that pair of young lovers?" Speaking of the young couple, Thin Monkey was angered as he said, "They are a couple that are afraid of death and have joined the Pill Pavilion. If not for Boss helping us kill the demon beast, would they even be qualified to enter the Xian Yu sect?" The big size man was also indignant. "That's right, it doesn't matter if you join the Pill Pavilion and become Yi Changfeng's disciple. I often say bad things about you, saying that you are too arrogant, and will definitely not stay in Xian Yu sect for long." Long Fei did not intend to do so, and said indifferently, "Everyone has their own aspirations, everyone has their own choice, they have only chosen their own path." Xiao Dai said, "Alright, let's not talk about all these. Today is the day of the general exam, whether or not you can become an elite disciple will all depend on today. Along, how are you doing? How many levels did your cultivation base increase?" Thin Monkey and the big size man looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said faintly, "My cultivation has not changed, I am still using the Escalate Blood 2 stage." Thin Monkey was startled and said, Boss, it's been over a month, why are you still at the same cultivation level as before? Do you know what cultivation Zhao Etian has now? As for the disciples of the Zhu family, all of their cultivations have surpassed yours. Too many changes had occurred over the course of a month. Especially after these disciples had gone through formal guidance in their cultivation, their progress had been extremely fast. The big guy muttered, "This is bad, there are only 10 spots for the elite disciples. If they can't get one, they will become ordinary disciples or service disciples. That is a step too slow, we will lose 1,000 miles." This was a watershed. Elite disciples were completely different from ordinary disciples. The difference between the heavens and the earth. Xiao Dai could not help but start to worry, and said, "Becoming an elite disciple allows one to leave a mission to earn points, Ordinary disciples need to cultivate for at least a year before they can leave the mission, and the service disciples will need even more of 3 years. Their cultivation levels were obviously not high enough. Although they had all improved greatly in this month, they were no match for the experts of the escalated blood stage. His only hope was Long Fei. But right now, Long Fei's cultivation had not improved even after a month, so there was no hope for him to make it through the overall examination. And then, Xiao Dai smiled slightly and said, "It's fine, even if we can't become elite disciples, if we become ordinary disciples, in another year, we will have a normal mission." Long Fei asked, "Sis, do you really want to go out of the mission to earn points?" Thin Monkey looked at Long Fei strangely and said, "Boss, you still don't know? Elder sister wants to earn enough points to apply to establish a hall so that her father can be reborn." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Xiao Dai glanced at Thin Monkey, who immediately stopped. The big bloke muttered, "Although Uncle Gui is an elder, no one in the Xian Yu sect thinks highly of him. In the month that you were here, we did not have any cultivation resources, nor any elixirs to temper our body. We all relied on Uncle Gui to find us all kinds of spirit grass, and we were injured several times." Long Fei was secretly shocked. You guys also received punishment. This was something he did not expect. Long Fei thought, "Yi Yurong, you female tyrant, if I don't get you down, I won't believe it." He was infuriated. Xiao Dai slightly said, "Yi Changfeng controls the Pill Pavilion, and in this month, all alchemy are stopped. Not only us, the Martial Hall, the Refining Branch, the Law Enforcement Hall, and even the disciples of the Elite Hall do not have any spiritual medicines. Yi Changfeng is forcing the Sister Yurong. The Sister Yurong is in charge of the Xian Yu sect. There are disciples every day now and the elders are complaining. The pressure on her is too great. The Pill Pavilion was the central hub of a sect. If it stopped, the entire sect would be affected. For an entire month, not a single elder or disciple of the Pill Pavilion had refined a single pill. Any martial artist who lost the assistance of pills would have a huge impact on their cultivation. Many disciples were complaining in their hearts, and even the elders were pressuring Yi Yurong. However, Yi Yurong did not compromise with him. The Thin Monkey unhappily said, "The Pill Pavilion does not have any pills, but Zhao Yiqian took these high-level spirit-tempering pills as candy. The reason why he broke through so quickly is because he had a large number of pills. If you give me those pills, I think I can break through the escalated blood stage." Long Fei muttered, "This big-chested woman is really bold. To be able to carry the banner of a sect at the age of 20. Facing these old fox elders, but being able to control the situation, Yi Yurong had to admit that she was extraordinary. However, in the past, she had relied on her own cultivation to intimidate others. Now, even if Yi Changfeng's pill house stopped its alchemy, she wouldn't be able to withstand it. Chapter 2263 Long Fei's Fault. Chapter 2263 Long Fei's Fault. Xian Yu Sect, Profound Moon Great Hall's Plaza. 18 arenas. 1,000 disciples of the Martial Hall were competing for the spots for the 10 elite disciples in these 18 rings. To become an adult, a single step would allow them to soar into the sky and gain special training. Once they stepped into the secret world, their cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds and they would be far, far behind their peers. The loser would only receive ordinary resources to cultivate, and would even become a service disciple without any resources to cultivate. The general exam will determine your fate in Xian Yu sect. Your Highness, I heard that along that trash is still at the escalate blood 2 stage. With your current cultivation, you can completely suppress him. One of the bodyguards said. Zhao Yiqian laughed contemptuously. Or is it the escalate blood 2 stage? Trash is trash. To think that you haven't advanced even a single inch in a month. Now watch how I trample you under my feet in front of all the sect members. Ha ha ha. Zhao Yiqian laughed out loud. He was already imagining Long Fei begging for mercy at his feet. One of the lackeys asked again, Your Royal Highness, those people from the Zhu family? Zhao Yiqian laughed, and said, I have already explained the Zhu family's people. What identity do they have? At most, they are the disciples of the great General Zhu Yaozong. Who am I? I am of the royal family, Do they dare to fight with me? Even if Zhu Yaozong personally appears, he would not dare to act so arrogantly in front of me. Who dares to invade the 7th prince's dragon aura? The entire Zhu family would not dare to touch you even if we added up. A few Zhu family disciples are nothing. Indeed, the Zhu family would not touch Zhao Yitian. Their goal was different from Zhao Yitian's. At this time, one of the lackeys said, "Your Highness, that piece of trash is here." Zhao Yitian's eyes tensed up as he stared at Long Fei teasingly. "You dog, today I will trample you to death. First I will trample you to death, then I will get that girl in my hands, ha ha ha. It's here, it's here. He's the one who contradicted the Elder Yi. It's all because of him. If it wasn't for him destroying Elder Yi's Fang Tiandao seal, Elder Yi wouldn't have been so ill that he wouldn't have been able to operate the entire pill pavilion. This would have caused us to lose the support of spirit medicine for the entire month. That's him. Harmful spirits. Why didn't you get out of Xian Yu sect? Kid, get out of Xian Yu sect. Get out." When Long Fei appeared, many people in the plaza started to curse. They blamed Long Fei for stopping the pill pavilion's alchemy, causing them to not have any spirit medicines to assist in their cultivation. Thin Monkey scolded back angrily, "Are you all brainless? How many alchemy disciples were there in the pill pavilion? Can Yi Changfeng's sickness alone cause the entire pill pavilion to stop their alchemy? Can't you guys have some brains?" The big guy followed, "Can't you cultivate without pills? Didn't I not enter the Xian Yu sect before because I did not have spiritual medicine, and thus did not cultivate normally? Humph. You guys have the nerve to say that. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have already broken through to the escalated blood stage." One of the disciples pointed at the big guy's nose and scolded him. 3 pieces of mouse poop, a pot of bad soup. I should have kicked all of you out of the Xian Yu sect. You just wait and see. This time, the commanders, don't even think about winning. Everyone, look at their faces. When you go on stage, beat them up for me, make them into service disciples, wash our clothes, and empty our toilets. Ha ha ha. Right, don't let them win even one match. Beat them to death. He vented his anger. 1 month ago, when he was still facing Long Fei, the later senior brother, he couldn't wait to become sworn brothers with Long Fei. But now, everyone really wanted to step on him, as if they had a deep grudge against him. This was reality. This was the human heart. Long Fei's gaze swept across them as he let out a disdainful sneer, "A bunch of idiots." Immediately, a disciple of the escalated blood stage immediately jumped out and pointed at Long Fei. "Who are you calling an idiot?" "Yes. Who are you calling a retard?" Long Fei looked at him and said, "I'm talking about you, what's wrong?" "I'm talking about you guys. What's wrong?" "Unconvinced? Come up and bite me." Long Fei was not someone who was afraid of things. "Unconvinced? This old man will do it till you admit it. So what if there were more people? What was the point of running out one by one and blaming him for everything? Your father is easy to bully." That disciple was instantly angered and said, "Brat, I think you are courting death." Long Fei said, "I'm courting death. If you have the ability, try touching me." "Humph. You think I'm fooled by you? When we get to the stage later, I will let you have a good look, you trash of the Escalate Blood 2 stage." The disciple shouted. Thin Monkey's eyes were filled with anger as he said, "Who are you calling a piece of trash?" He was about to rush up. Being pulled by Long Fei, all of the surrounding clan elders were watching closely. Whoever acted first would definitely be punished. He had also wanted to anger the other party just now. Once they made a move, these elders would definitely target them. Because Long Fei could tell that these new disciples hated him, and so did those elders. During this month, not only did the Xian Yu sect's disciples not use spiritual medicines to cultivate, the elders did not either. Long Fei said, "Let's see who is the trash on the stage." After which he strode towards the plaza. Long Fei thought, seems like elixir of life is really the life gate of a sect. I have to find a way to cultivate the alchemy technique. When the heaven and earth is the furnace, it is naturally fire. Was the alchemy in my mind inborn, or was it imparted to me by someone else? I feel that it's a lot stronger than the alchemy technique on the Zhenwu continent. Long Fei flipped through the alchemy technique, but he was completely unable to compare to the alchemy technique that he had grasped, and while others could only refine pellets one by one, he was different. Not long later, Guanzhen walked out. Yu Wanshan, Wu Yi also walked out. Yi Changfeng was absent. However, in another building, he was drinking tea and looking at everything that happened in martial arts arena. A small new disciple dares to fight against me? Humph. You overestimate yourself. And then, Yi Changfeng looked at the other building and knew that Yi Yurong was right inside. He coldly laughed. Without my pill pavilion, would your position as the young sect master be comfortable? Yi Yurong, I want to see how you are going to fight me. Let's see how long you can last. Yi Changfeng was very pleased. Without me, even the Xianyu sect would have collapsed. What do you think a woman like me is worth? Humph. Yi Yurong was indeed in another building as she watched the training grounds. However, her attention was completely focused on Long Fei, and she said with great interest, right now, your enemies with 9,996 people, just like in a cage. Let's see how you will escape. Heh. I'm looking forward to your performance. The black scale carving at the side also let out a cry. Yi Yurong slightly said, I know you're worried about that divine pellet, don't worry, he won't be able to escape from my grasp, he. Chapter 264 System, Why did you force me to act cool? Chapter 264 System, Why did you force me to act cool? Today is the Martial Hall's new disciple exam. The top 10 will become the elite disciples of and they will gain the qualifications to train in the secret world. The last 100 will become service disciples. You only have this one chance. I hope that each of you can bring out your best. This is an assessment that will decide your fate, Guanzhen said heavily. While he was speaking, he intentionally looked at Long Fei. After 1 month, his cultivation stopped. Becoming an ordinary disciple should be easy, but becoming an elite disciple was extremely difficult. After all, during this month, many people broke through the escalated blood stage. Even if Long Fei had a strong sword intent, he could only use that one move once. The escalate blood 2 stage simply could not withstand such a strong sword intent. Regarding the last time where Long Fei was powerless against him, Guanzhen did not care in the least. Originally, he thought that Long Fei would improve by leaps and bounds, but he never thought that he would actually be able to do so in such a short period of time. His cultivation had not changed, and he was slightly disappointed. Not just him. Yu Wanshan was also a little disappointed in her heart. To a foundation establishment newbie, this month's worth of formal cultivation is too precious. Sigh. What a pity about this seedling. Wu Yi said lightly, this is all life, if he did not destroy the Fang Tiandao seal, how could it have ended up like this? Guanzhen said, let the competition begin. The first match. First battle, Along against Liu Yeyuan. Both of you, please step out. The first battle was Long Fei. And Liu Yeyuan was precisely the disciple who had stood out earlier and mocked Long Fei. Third grade blood refining. Liu Yeyuan laughed loudly, ha ha ha. I never thought I would be so lucky, running into trash the moment I arrived. Immediately, Liu Yeyuan moved his sword and released his true essence. His entire body suddenly flew into the air, his body was as light as a leaf, he floated down and landed on the stage, he waved his sword and pointed at Long Fei who was in the crowd, his expression proud, he sneered, trash, come up and die. Wow. So handsome. Senior brother Liu, kill him. Let's teach him a lesson. The gorgeous entrance attracted the screams of girls. At the third grade of the blood refinement realm, releasing his true essence was indeed very powerful. If one wanted to be more gorgeous than him, Long Fei would have to keep a much lower profile, and walk towards the stage step by step. Xiao Dai slightly said, Along, you must be careful, his Liu Yi sword technique is very powerful. Thin Monkey said, boss, you must trample him. The big guy said, yes. Kid, can you hurry up? Wasting senior brother Liu's time. I think you should just admit defeat and not go up and embarrass yourself. A month ago, you were very impressive, but now you're not even a fart. Entering the stage will only cause you to lose face. Infinite mockery. Long Fei did not mind, and slowly walked to the stage. Liu Yeyuan said, I said it before, I will trample you to death on the stage. Long Fei shrugged and replied, oh? It was also at this time that Guanzhen yelled out, this competition of the same sect shall come to an end once it has been decided, you shall not kill anyone. Liu Yeyuan replied, don't worry clan elder, I will not hurt his life. I will naturally beat him until he crawling all over the ground, and learn to bark like a dog, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The crowd below the arena burst into laughter. Guanzhen said, let the competition begin. As soon as he finished, Liu Yeyuan's long sword moved, and the corner of his mouth curled up as he said in disdain, brat, kneel down and tremble for me. Not waiting for him to finish. Poochie. Bam. A mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth and his knees were in intense pain. His entire body fell to his knees. Catcher. The kneecap made a cracking sound. There was a pause for half a second. S face was pale white, his entire body was covered in perspiration, but he was kneeling on the ground, unable to move at all, and his entire body was twitching in pain from the pain. At this time, Long Fei stood in his original position without moving at all. The new disciples below the stage could not see him clearly. Only a few elders were slightly startled. What a fast sword. This is still the sword hilt, if it's the sword tip, then Liu Yeyuan would already be dead. This sword art. I've never seen it before. The few elders communicated with one another with shocked expressions. Below the arena, silence reigned. This was because they had no idea what had just happened. Suddenly, Liu Yeyuan kneeled on the ground. Nothing happened. Long Fei walked in front of Liu Yeyuan and coldly asked, who's the trash? It was dark and cold. Liu Yeyuan saw the look in Long Fei's eyes, and his mind started to tremble. The chill was all over his body, and his Adam's apple rolled as he immediately said, I am a trash. Terrified. Long Fei's gaze seemed to be able to kill him. Long Fei asked again, who learned to bark like a dog? Liu Yeyuan continued, I will imitate a dog's meowing, woof, woof, woof. He began to bark like a dog on the spot. Long Fei asked again, who is crawling all over the ground? Liu Yeyuan endured the pain and said, I crawled on the ground. After which, he crawled back up and fresh blood gushed out from under his knees. Long Fei said, is that good? Liu Yeyuan did not dare to reply. He was incomparably afraid in his heart, and no one was clearer than him about what just happened. Moreover, it was an illusion of a sword being drawn, and then his stomach hurt and he dropped to his knees. That speed. It was comparable to lightning. It was so fast that he could not see it clearly. He didn't even have the chance to retaliate. Along wins. Guanzhen shouted out, the next match. However, Long Fei did not walk down the stage. Guanzhen said slightly, Along, you have already won and are entering the next round. Long Fei smiled faintly as his gaze swept across the entire audience, and said, I just said that all of you are a group of idiots. Let me add one more sentence. I want to say, everyone here is trash. As soon as he finished, the eyes of all the disciples in the plaza widened. Guanzhen and the few elders had a change in expression as well. What is this kid trying to do? Damn, what does he want to do? Do you think that he has not angered the masses enough? Is he crazy? It was also at this time. The new disciples in the plaza were also angry. Kid, say it again. Who do you think you are? Did you win that big of a battle? Are you courting death? They all started to curse angrily. At this time, Long Fei's voice sank, and as soon as the true qi surged, it was directly injected into the voice as he said in a heavy tone, I said, everyone here is trash. The voice was loud like a bell. He would crush down all the sounds in the square. Every disciple was enraged. Xiao Dai became anxious. Along, what are you doing? Thin Monkey was also a little worried, but he was more excited. Damn, isn't boss too handsome? The big guy asked, what does boss want to do? At this moment, Long Fei's voice sounded once again, you're not in a good mood, right? Come. I challenge all of you alone. Finished. The entire arena instantly fell silent. At this moment, on the surface, Long Fei was incomparably arrogant and domineering. However, Long Fei felt bitter in his heart. System, damn you, why do you insist on forcing me to act cool? Ding. The system sounded out. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2265 Victory. I am your woman. Chapter 2265 Victory. I am your woman. Aren't you being a little too arrogant? Someone challenged all the new disciples present. How could this be considered crazy? He was simply crazy to the point of madness. However, Long Fei also didn't want to be like this. He had always kept a low profile. However, just as he defeated Liu Yeyuan in one move earlier, the system had mysteriously issued an extremely powerful mission. Fighting alone against a group of heroes, defeating all the new disciples, he had won the prize. All of this was forced by the system. There were nearly 1,000 generals fighting by himself. Even if Long Fei's martial power was strong, it would still be difficult to defend against him. After all, he was just a single person. Quintessential essence was limited. Moreover, they could not kill people on the stage. Otherwise, if they let some elders go berserk, no matter where or under what circumstances, killing people from the same sect was a serious crime in Xianyu sect. This way, the difficulty of the mission would increase. The key was, there was no way to refuse this mission. Failure would result in a penalty of 10 levels. There was no other way. Long Fei could only continue this act. Moreover, it was an arrogant act, acting so arrogantly that at the very least, his aura would suppress everything and he would not lose. Come on. All trash here. Long Fei braced himself and acted tough, thinking bitterly in his heart, system, fuck you, this time I will really be tricked to death by you, but if I had completed my mission and your prize is trash, I would have scolded your ancestors 10,000 times over without repeating myself. As soon as he finished, the entire audience was boiling with rage. His 2F** king arrogant. His looking to die. Even if you want to die, that's not the case. Is the Escalate Blood 2 stage awesome? Cripple him. Kill him. This kid is too arrogant. Who does he think he is? Nearly 1,000 people approached the stage, all of them eyeing it covetously, as if they were enemies with Long Fei killing his father. Everyone wished they could step on Long Fei. Because this bastard was too arrogant. It caused public outrage. Long Fei held onto his sky sword tightly. Since the system had issued a quest to act cool, he would do his best. Don't be blind, come up. Nonsense. Guanzhen's voice sunk as he shouted loudly, Along, come down. His voice crushed the entire audience. Last time, Long Fei caused Guanzhen to lose a lot of face, and he really couldn't block the sword strike of the fairy from heaven. Guanzhen did not hold a grudge, because he knew that he had been used. Then again, Long Fei was a good sapling, he would not die so easily. Yuanshan also followed, stop messing around, hurry up and come down, don't delay the other disciples' competition. He also did not want to see Long Fei die prematurely. No matter how strong Long Fei was, he was still only at the Escalate Blood 2 stage realm. Putting everything else aside, just the true qi itself was insufficient to support Long Fei. Wu Yi did not speak, he only smiled slightly. The voices of the disciples quietened down. Since the elders had already intervened, then this 1,000 fight could no longer continue. At this time, Zhao Yiqian said slightly, Is this Xianyu sect really this kind of trash place? Guanzhen asked, What do you mean? Zhao Yiqian laughed disdainfully, What do you mean? For a new disciple to be so arrogant, not to mention humiliating all the new disciples, you actually want to fight against 1,000 people by yourself. You simply do not put us in your eyes. You simply do not put the Xianyu sect in your eyes. Don't you elders think that you should teach them a lesson? Even if you can tolerate it, I can't. He felt very unhappy in his heart. As a member of the Zhaoguo royal family, he was not even this arrogant, yet Long Fei had stolen all the limelight. This made him very unhappy, as he was the true focus of this examination. He was the center. Guanzhen said, I can't tolerate it, what do you want to do now? Zhao Yiqian sneered, his gaze looking at Long Fei who was on the stage, and said, "Didn't he like to be arrogant? Let's see if he has the right to be arrogant. 1 versus 1? Then let him challenge it." Guanjin said, "No, there is no such rule in the exam." Suddenly, Yi Changfeng walked to the window and released his true essence, then said indifferently, "Rules are dead, people are alive. Moreover, this kid is too arrogant. Forget about these young and arrogant new disciples, even I am also very unhappy." As soon as he finished, immediately, many elders echoed, "I'm not in a good mood too." Exactly. How can the Xian Yu sect allow him to be so arrogant? A mere new disciple doesn't know his place. It's time to teach him a lesson. I agree with great elder. In a short moment, many of the surrounding clan elders agreed. After not cultivating for a month, they wished that they could protect Yi Changfeng's thighs. Since he had already spoken, they would definitely seize this opportunity to flatter him. Yi Changfeng laughed in satisfaction, and couldn't help but look in Yi Yorong's direction as he sneered, "Yi Yorong, let's see how you'll protect him this time." However, Yi Yorong had no intention to protect Long Fei from the start. Moreover, she was even very excited. "You're courting death." And then, Yi Yorong also said, "I also agree with Elder Yi. Since he wants to court death, then let him die. What if he wins?" Yi Changfeng was slightly shocked. He did not expect Yi Yorong to actually agree, and said, "If you win, naturally you will become an elite disciple, and receive the qualifications to train in the secret world." Yi Yorong laughed with interest, and said, "Is that all? How boring that would be." Yi Changfeng said, "Young sect master, then what do you want to do?" Yi Yorong said, "Elder Yi, why don't we have a bet? If that kid wins, then your pill pavilion will resume operations and ensure the consumption of the sect's spirit medicine every month." Yi Changfeng's eyes slightly tightened, and immediately asked, "What if he loses?" Yi Yorong said, "Tell me." The corner of Yi Changfeng's mouth revealed a cold smile, and said, "Then, you abdicate." As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience was shocked. Young sect master abdicated? This was not a joke, and Yi Changfeng's expression and tone did not seem like he was joking. Guanzhen, Yu Wanshan, Wu Yi and a few other elders all went up together, and shouted in unison, "No." Not waiting for them to finish, Yi Yorong smiled slightly, "All right." The entire audience was in an uproar. "Young sect master, think twice. Young sect master, this is simply an impossible to win match. Elder Yi, stop messing around." Right now, the only person who could shake the entire sect was Yi Yorong. If she abdicated, the Xianyu sect would definitely fall into chaos at this time, and the consequences would be unimaginable. Yi Changfeng's heart trembled again. He never thought that Yi Yorong would actually agree to it. Immediately, Yi Changfeng immediately replied, "A word from a gentleman." Yi Yorong said, "Don't worry, Yi Yorong will keep my promise." Finished. Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei, his eyes revealing a meaningful look, and laughed faintly, which was a very weird laugh. Long Fei's heart trembled. He also smiled and directly sent a sound transmission to the idea, "This time, you're definitely going to lose. I don't want to play anymore." Yi Yorong's expression did not change, but smiled, "Didn't you want me to be your woman? If I win, I'll be your woman." Chapter 2266 Enlargement Stroke. Chapter 2266 Enlargement Stroke. If you win, I'll be your woman. These words, was moved when he heard this. He really wanted to know what the exclamation mark on Yi Yorong's head was. With his understanding of the game, Yi Yorong must have triggered a quest. But he couldn't trigger it. Furthermore, she was most likely one of the 7 beauties in the picture. If that was the case, she might be able to trigger it. Of course. Long Fei's memories of 100,000 planes had yet to awaken, so he still believed himself to be a virgin. Yi Yorong's body had already been seen by him. If this kind of supreme beauty was his woman, then forget about 3 days and 3 nights, he wouldn't even get out of bed for 7 days and 7 nights. Long Fei suppressed the joy in his heart and said, "You said it yourself." Yi Yorong said, "I said it, so you will go all out, right?" Long Fei smiled slightly, and said, "For the sake of my dear wife, I am going all out as well." Even if Yi Yorong didn't look for him, he would still go all out. The posturing mission issued by the system was naturally completed as well. After all, this was a huge reward for him. How could he not go and complete it? And now, 2 birds with 1 stone. Yi Yorong, who received a mysterious grand prize and the #1 beauty. Long Fei's fighting strength instantly soared. Guanzhen and the others still wanted to persuade him, but they knew very well that there was no room for discussion. They could only shake their heads and sigh. Ah, what is there to do, young school head? You played it too hard. I won't deny that this boy's strength is very strong, but no matter how strong he is, he can't possibly be a match for 1,000 people. Exactly. It's time to play hopping. The 3 elders shook their heads. With such strength, how strong could the cultivation of the Escalate Blood 2 stage be? Fighting 1,000 alone? It was simply impossible. At this time, Yi Changfeng said loudly, as the great clan elder of the Pill Pavilion, I will also provide some rewards for the overall examination. If you can beat him, I will give each of you a 2nd-grade elixir. Whoever lifts him out of the arena will be rewarded with a grade 3 elixir separately. As soon as he finished, all of the disciples present burst into an uproar once again. Grade 2 spirit medicine, wow! This happiness came too suddenly. As long as we can get that kid off the stage, he would be able to obtain grade 3 spirit medicines, ha ha ha. This time we're rich. Great Elder is indeed extraordinary. This kid is dead for sure. Ha ha ha. Everyone was excited. A grade 2 elixir was too precious to them. Moreover, Yi Changfeng was indeed generous. With one hand he had more than 1,000 spirit medicines, and they were even 2nd-grade ones. Yu Wanshan's expression slightly changed, and said, Elder Yi, what is the meaning of this? Yi Changfeng stroked his beard and laughed lightly. It's not worth it, I'm just trying to liven up the atmosphere, ha ha ha. This is not a lively atmosphere. This was to let them use their strongest fighting strength to ruthlessly crush Long Fei. He had to make Long Fei lose, and pull Yi Yorong down from his position as the young sect master. Yi Changfeng's rewards allowed the aura of these new disciples to soar, and their fighting spirit rose as well. With such a large sum of money, these people all felt as if they were on stimulants. This is bad. This time Along is making a huge fuss. Big sister, what should we do? Should we attack together? All of a sudden, Xiao Dai said slightly, we will also blend into the crowd. If Along is unable to resist, we must protect his life. Understood. Zhao Yiqian laughed complacently in his heart, lowered his voice and shouted heavily, what are you waiting for? Attack. Kill. Kill. Kill that brat. Kid, prepare to die. All of a sudden, people swarmed up like a tide. One by one, they leapt high into the air, a long sword, a large blade, a steel spear, and all sorts of martial skills and techniques all struck towards Long Fei, and all of them were using all of their strength. Huff. In that instant, Long Fei exhaled lightly. His state of mind was like water and did not have a single ripple. Over 100 people attacked at the same time. All of his moves had completely surrounded the blind spots on his body. It could be said, he had no way out. However, Long Fei's dictionary did not have the word retreat. All martial arts in the world, only speed is unbreakable. 1 month of training. It's time for people to see your power. A sword skill that can shake this world. Bring it on. Ghost Blade. Phantom Sword Dance. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes became sinister and flashed with a ray of light. His body moved, and his sword became like wind, as if it was illusory, as though lightning, and attacked with his sword. Bam! Bam! Bang! Bang bang bang. In half a breath of time, more than 30 disciples were directly pushed back by Long Fei's long sword. They did not hit any vital points, but it was still enough to make them unable to crawl back up. What a fast sword. What a shocking sword intent. It's too fast. He used at least 30 slashes in that instant, this kid. The few elders could not help but become excited. Yi Yorong's expression was also slightly shocked. He muttered, my cultivation has not improved, but this sword technique. Looking at Long Fei on the stage, he could not help but ask, He really practiced this kind of low-level sword technique for a month. The black scale carving nodded his head and said, "Unsheathing the sword is indeed very common. This kind of unsheathing the sword should be an unconventional sword technique, but he has trained for an entire month, and aside from eating and sleeping, he has been practicing. I feel very bored, and really do not know how he perseveres." He drew his sword and sheathed it. He drew his sword and sheathed it. Tens of thousands of times a day, and every time, he would be extremely serious and concentrate on his task. Only after practicing millions of times a month would he be able to persevere. Let alone a practitioner, even a spectator would go crazy. Of course. No one knew how powerful this sword technique was. The people of this world did not know what a DNF was, nor did they know what a ghost blade was, nor did they know what a phantom sword dance was. Yi Yorong squinted at Long Fei. "It's not that simple." The black scale carving said, "Master, do you think this sword technique is not simple?" Yi Yorong did not say a word, but silently looked at Long Fei, and in her heart, she felt that Long Fei was extremely interesting. Shua! Bang, bang, bang. Yet another instant attack. Dozens of people were sent flying and crashed into the arena. Although there was no danger to their lives, they still couldn't recover for a long time and lacked combat strength. Attack! Everyone forward! Let's attack together, don't give him a chance to catch his breath. Zhao Yiqian roared loudly. These new disciples also crazily rushed forward. In the arena, Long Fei's entire body was covered in sweat, and there were many wounds on his body. Although his sword moves were very fast, his sword skills did not have any defense, so it was impossible to estimate his entire body. He swept the area with his gaze. Long Fei thought, if this goes on, I won't be able to do anything, I'll probably be exhausted to death. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei panted heavily. This was only the beginning. These disciples were all at the refinement realm, and what was behind them were all the escalated blood stage, the elite warrior of the Zhu family. The guards around Zhao Yiqian. And Zhao Yiqian himself, these people had not acted yet. I have to maintain my physical strength. Enlargement stroke. Chapter 267, Overwhelming the Entire Audience, Who Else? Chapter 267, Overwhelming the Entire Audience, Who Else? This was not the way to go about it. Too many people. There were no more games left to play. Even if the phantom sword dance did not consume Long Fei's true qi, his body would not be able to hold on. After all, he was just a escalate blood 2 stage. His stamina was limited. If he wanted to change it, he had to use the enlargement stroke. Bang! Phut! Long Fei struck out continuously, his back was also struck, blood trickled down the corner of his mouth, his expression was a little awkward. Humph! Escalate blood 2 stage, I want to see how long you can live. Yi Changfeng laughed sinisterly, one man challenging 1,000, and with a cultivation level that was around the same, this was simply impossible. The first few rounds of Long Fei had indeed given him a fright. Regardless of the speed of his sword or his movement technique, both were very sharp. However, as time passed, the drawbacks began to emerge. Long Fei won't be able to hold on for too long. Yi Changfeng saw through it, and Guanzhen and the others also saw it. They started to worry for Long Fei. Wu Yi slightly said, "Elder Yi wouldn't really want young sect master to abdicate from the throne, right?" In his opinion, Long Fei would definitely lose this match. Yu Wanshan frowned and said, "It looks like he's not joking." Guanzhen said, "If young sect master abdicates from the throne, Elder Yi would no longer allow her to take control. At that time, Xianyu sect would probably become a subsidiary power of the Zhao family." Sigh. Yu Wanshan sighed, and said, "Now it all depends on this brat." Wu Yi said, "He is already unable to hold on, his physical strength is overdrawn, and he will not be able to hold on any longer. The young sect master has lost this competition." The three of them locked their eyebrows. Indeed, Long Fei was about to crumble. However, the only one whose expression did not change was Yi Yorong. She did not seem to care about the battle on the stage at all, her face was filled with satisfaction, as if she did not care at all. The black scale carving, on the other hand, was somewhat anxious, and said, "Master, he won't be able to hold on for much longer. Don't you want to help him? Yi Yorong took a bite of the apple and said, Don't worry, he is much stronger than you imagined. I am not worried at all. The black scale carving said, If you lose, you have to abdicate. Right. Master, if he wins, are you really going to be his woman? Yi Yorong and Long Fei used Idea S to communicate, but as Yi Yorong's avian war pet, it could also hear them. Yi Yorong looked at the blood-soaked Long Fei and smiled. Be his woman? Heh. Go quickly. All of you, charge. This dog is going to die. Ha ha ha. Kid, let's see how long you can be arrogant this time around. Zhao Etienne's face was full of excitement as he continued to instruct them. On the other side, the Zhu family's 10 over elite warrior S were also jumping up. At this moment, the number of disciples on the stage increased more and more, and were no longer able to stand. Long Fei was being tightly surrounded in the middle, and after a series of random attacks, he was no longer able to unleash his full strength. The encirclement was getting smaller and smaller. If he was even half a step smaller, Long Fei would have been surrounded and killed. Long Fei looked at the number of people on the stage. There were at least 300 to 400 people. It should be about now, right? No matter how much he tried, he wouldn't be able to hold on. In that instant, Long Fei's true chi surged, releasing his true essence, causing the sword intent to instantly become sharp, the sky sword supporting the ground, the sword body turning into a bow, with a bit of rust on it. With a flick, Long Fei's body leaped into the air. It was also at this time. Guanzhen's eyes became serious. Is it that move again? Yi Yorong was also slightly moved. Is it that heavenly immortal technique again? That's not right. Wrong move. In the air, Long Fei's mouth had a hint of a smile, and he said secretly, In the game, I have never released a phantom sword dance like this. He took a look at the overlapping series of slashes from the phantom sword dance. From the very beginning, Long Fei had kept on attacking. He did not release the strongest move that carried the sword chi. Now, the amount of combo that had been added together had already reached over 1,000 combos. His figure sank. Long Fei roared, Phantom sword dance, tempest of 10,000 sword. Explode. Over 1,000 consecutive slashes exploded out in an instant. The strong sword intent formed itself into a stream of sword chi. The sword chi was like the wind as it started to swirl rapidly. Guanzhen's face darkened. He immediately walked to the front. Sword chi. Convert sword intent into sword chi. What sort of level did his attainments in the path of the sword reach? Since you can even release sword chi, that's incredible, really incredible. Sword intent was just like suppression, but it was a spiritual suppression. However, the sword chi could injure people, but it was a level higher than the sword intent. The sword energies became gales of wind and began to rapidly spin, just like swords dancing in a hurricane. The power of this sword attack was too strong. Yu Wanshan was extremely excited. In a month, my cultivation did not change, but this sword move is so sharp, so powerful. Yi Yorong was startled. He immediately threw the apple to the side and said with a face full of excitement, I knew he was not simple. As expected, the black scale carving was stunned, and said, I've monitored him for a month, but I've never seen him use this move before. Just how did he use it? Boom, boom, boom. The wind raged. Sword energy danced wildly. Long Fei was the eyes of the wind, so the moment he landed, the disciples on the stage could no longer hold on, and were all swept up and sent flying. This scene was incomparably eye-catching. Many people were shocked. In just a few seconds, the entire arena of 300 to 400 people had been overturned. It was shocking, extremely shocking. Buzz. The sword wind stopped. Long Fei continued walking forward, and coldly said, Fuck, who else is there? The entire hall was silent. He had been completely crushed. Yi Changfeng's face turned sinister. He looked extremely ugly, staring at the arrogant Long Fei standing on the stage, his fists clenched tightly, letting out a cracking sound, You dog. And then, he took out a small bottle from his bosom and said in a low voice, Men, give this to 7th Prince. He knows how to use it. Out of the close to 1,000 new disciples, there were only 300 left. Although many of them were escalated blood stage, the new disciples who had reached the body refinement realm were constantly retreating, and did not dare to go up. Was crushed by Long Fei's aura. Too fierce. Thin Monkey shouted excitedly, "Boss is mighty, ha ha ha. Too awesome. This kind of overpowered thing can only be done by the boss. To challenge 1,000 people by himself, I wonder who would be able to do such a thing. I'd like to ask, who else is there?" The three were excited. However, the remaining few hundred people were all escalated blood stage experts. Especially those warrior of the Zhu family who had come down from the life and death battlefield. Their cultivation bases had been suppressed. What was his real cultivation? No one knew. Zhao Etian looked at Zhu Yuan and asked, "Aren't the Zhu family members going to fight?" The curious thing was, Zhu Yuan smiled faintly and said, "We give up." Zhao Etian was immediately enraged. Trash. Zhu Yuan did not get angry, but just smiled. At this time, the disciple that Yi Changfeng sent out walked over to Zhao Etian's side and said, "The great clan elder gave this to His Highness, he said you know how to use it." Zhao Etian looked at the pellet in the small bottle, and his eyes immediately flashed with excitement. "Explosive magic pill. Kid. Your time of death has come." Chapter 2268 Attacking the Devil with the Devil. Chapter 2268 Attacking the Devil with the Devil. A type of stimulating pill used to explosive the magic pill, causing the muscles and veins to surge, solidifying the primeval essence within, and the cultivation to increase explosively. The reason it was called a magic pill was because only the magic tribes could use such pills. These pills were prohibited in the human world. The magic tribe and the human race had different physiques. The muscles and veins of the magic tribe have different ways of cultivating true essence. They can withstand the sudden rise in cultivation level that humans can consume, but it will leave behind side effects. If he took too much, his life would be in danger. However, at this time, Zhao Etian didn't think too much about it. Right now, he only thought of one thing, to trample Long Fei under his feet. And then, Zhao Etian poured out a few tiny pills from the pill bottle. "Eat them all." The guards beside him did not dare to disobey. After several seconds, the true essence within their bodies began to madly burst forth, and their cultivation began to rapidly rise. His entire body was scarlet red. The power throughout his body was especially strong. Just like how it was in the berserk state. Zhao Etian stared coldly at Long Fei, who was on the stage. "Let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant. Charge. Whoever can take his life, I will give him the title of a first-rank general." A first-rank great general? An existence that worshipped the first rank and looked down upon others. Who doesn't want it? With that said, many of them started to charge forward again. Those guards who consumed the exploding magic pill turned red, like demon dwellers. They released waves of howls, and madly rushed forward. Compared to the beginning, the people rushing over this time were all disciples of the escalated blood stage. His cultivation was very strong. Especially the few people who consumed the exploding magic pill, their bodies radiated with an extremely dangerous aura. "Kill. Kill. Kill him." Guanzhen's eyes trembled as he stared at the guards with red eyes and asked, "Take the forbidden medicine? It looks like a magic pill exploding. How could there be a magic pill in the Xianyu sect? Young sect master, please stop this duel." Yu Wanshan also stepped forward and said, "Young sect master, if someone takes a forbidden pill, please stop this competition, or else the consequences will be unimaginable." At this moment, Yi Changfeng slightly said, "As a member of the imperial family, having a magic pill is a very normal thing. Do you still think there is any rule that says you cannot use magic pill in the overall examination?" Yu Wanshan said solemnly, "Elder Yi, what is the meaning of this?" Yi Changfeng laughed lightly, "Very simple, let's continue with the competition." Guanzhen said, "No, someone took a magic pill, this competition is not fair, we cannot continue." Yi Changfeng laughed, "Clan Elder Guan, you cannot make the decision for this competition." His eyes looked towards Yi Yorong's direction. Yi Changfeng continued, "A competition is a competition. Since that brat has bragged so much, if we don't continue to teach him a lesson, he really doesn't put Shen Yu sect in his eyes. If this competition is stopped, the Pill Pavilion will probably have to rest for a few more months. His voice was very calm. But this was a naked threat. As long as this competition was stopped, the Pill Pavilion that he was controlling would stop running for a few more months. At that time, even the disciples of Shen Yu sect would not be able to control themselves. Yi Changfeng's move was too ruthless. If this competition continued, the explosive strength of the magic pill would be enough to defeat Long Fei. Regardless of the outcome, Yi Changfeng was the winner. Yi Changfeng wore a proud smile on his face as he looked towards the distant Yi Yorong. When those people consumed pills, she knew that it was forbidden medicine. Yi Yorong said indifferently, "Let the competition continue." Guanzhen became anxious and said, "Young sect master, we can't continue." Yu Wanshan said, "Elder Yi, that brat destroyed your Fang Tiandao seal. You don't have to do this to him, do you? You have also seen his potential. In less than 10 years, he will definitely be able to reach the ascendant stage. Compared to his talent with the Fang Tiandao seal, can't you think for the Shen Yu sect? Do you really have to put him to death?" Yi Changfeng did not try to hide it in the slightest, and coldly laughed, "Elder Yu, you speak so lightly. The one who was destroyed was not your 10,000 mountains seal. Of course you do not know about that kind of pain." "You're right. I want him dead. Of course, he can survive as well. It's fine as long as he admits defeat." Yi Changfeng laughed coldly in his heart. No matter what, he would win this match. With the influence of the Pill Pavilion, Yi Yorong could quickly control the entire Shen Yu sect with his abdication. At that time, if the sect master did not come out, he could cover the sky with one hand. Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei who was standing on the stage. At that moment, he was unable to endure any more. If this continued, his life would be in danger, and with the combined attacks of the Blood Refinement Realm disciples, Long Fei would not be able to hold on. The black scale carving said, "Master, he definitely won't be able to stop it. Forget it. He's probably going to die. If he dies, there's nothing left." "Master." The black scale carving was still thinking about the divine pellet on Long Fei's body, the one that could transform, change, and become stronger. How could Yi Yorong not know? Long Fei's inherent skill potential. The secret on him. He couldn't die. Yi Yorong's mind tightened as he softly exhaled. He walked forward and said, "I." Before he could even say the word abdicate, Long Fei suddenly shouted out from the stage, "There is no such thing as admitting defeat in my dictionary. Highly toxic tracking. You want to fight against me? Then let's see how long you can last." Suddenly, there was a drastic change. Long Fei's body emitted a poisonous miasma, which dispersed out one mass after another. The entire arena was swiftly covered by the poisonous mist. The disciples who had rushed to the stage were instantly poisoned, damage started to float on top of their heads, and most importantly, they could not even discern Long Fei's position within the poisonous miasma. Chase after him. Continue chasing. Is the magic pill amazing? How is Laozi's devil art? F***CK. Originally, Long Fei did not want to use this move. If he had used it from the start, he only needed to maintain the poison mist on the stage. "You'll be poisoned as soon as you come up." But now, someone actually used forbidden medicine, and Yi Changfeng's words made him extremely unhappy. "You want me to die? Then let's see who dies first." The sudden turn of events shocked many people. Yi Yorong was secretly shocked. He turned to look at the black scale carving. "What technique is this?" The black scale carving looked confused as it shook its head. "I don't know either. I've never seen him use it." "Poison fog? Is this a demonic art? Could he be someone from the magic tribe?" "That shouldn't be the case. He doesn't have any magic tribe's aura on him, and the Saint Devil Mountain is tens of millions of kilometers away from the magic tribe. How could he appear here?" Yi Yorong also couldn't understand, but she smiled. "You sure have a lot of secrets." Guanzhen laughed. "Good boy." However, Yi Changfeng was not in a good mood. Like a dog leaping over a wall, he anxiously and angrily said, "Demonic arts, devil arts, he is using a devil art, he is someone from the magic tribe. Someone, come. Capture him immediately." Chapter 2269 Steamrolling with Prestige. Chapter 2269 Steamrolling with Prestige. This time, Yi Changfeng was anxious. The poisonous miasma surrounded the stage, and the disciples that rushed up could not even last a minute before jumping down by themselves. The guards that used the explosive magic pill could not hold on either. He was like a headless fly that was flying everywhere, causing him to fall down several times. It was extremely embarrassing. Long Fei was sure to win if this went on. This was the outcome he wanted to see the least. Guanzhen, didn't you see that? That brat is from the magic tribe, immediately send someone to take him down. Green veins popped out of Yi Changfeng's forehead as he became incomparably furious. Guanzhen slightly asked, someone from the magic tribe? Could the elder Yi's methods alone prove that he was someone from the magic tribe? It can't be. We'll talk about it later. There doesn't seem to be any rule in our Xianyu sect that forbids people from taking the examination, right? You're not allowed to use demonic arts, right? Didn't you just say that you can use the forbidden pill magic pill? So what if he uses devil arts now? Yi Changfeng's eyes stared wide, his teeth chattering loudly. He shouted out loudly, Guanzhen, you. And then. He did not care too much and shouted, men, capture that magic tribe thief. Guanzhen let out a heavy cry and said, where is the law enforcement hall? If they dare to interfere, then capture them. Ha! Immediately. More than 10 elite disciples of law enforcement hall rushed out. Yi Changfeng's eyes turned sinister, and he said, Guanzhen, you want to oppose me? Guanzhen said, you are the great clan elder, and even if I do not know my place, I would not dare to go against you. But, I am the one in charge of the overall examination. The competition is still going on. If there is anyone who can stop it, then it will be going against the sect Elder Yi. I think we should just make these people admit defeat. Earlier, Yi Changfeng was the one who made Yi Yorong admit defeat, but now it was the complete opposite. Yi Changfeng's face changed. He was an elder of the Pill Pavilion, and the position of the Pill Pavilion was the strongest in the Xianyu sect, but the Pill Pavilion was not the strongest. Yi Changfeng let out a heavy snort, and said, admit defeat? We don't know who will win or lose yet. Bam! 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 One disciple after another was kicked down by Long Fei. The person who was kicked out no longer had the strength to fight. He could only lie on the ground and painfully moan. 10 minutes later, only Long Fei remained on the stage. More than 200 disciples had fallen below the stage. Other than the Zhu family's warrior, there was only one other person who had not participated. Zhao Yitian. Long Fei closed his highly toxic tracking and stared at the nearby Zhao Yitian, and said, there's only you left. Long Fei was extremely excited. The sky sword in his hand danced. There was a teasing and disdainful expression on his face, as if he did not place Zhao Yitian in his eyes at all. However, at the moment, Long Fei had already exhausted all of his stamina. Also, the true qi in his body had disappeared, directly becoming zero, which also meant that he could not release even a single cultivation technique. The fairy from heaven and the parasitic possession technique, he was completely unable to release any of them. At this time, let alone Zhao Yitian, whose cultivation was higher than him, he couldn't even beat a 5th grade refining body martial artist. Zhao Yitian, you coward. I told you to hurry up and die. Don't worry, I won't kill you. At most, I will just pull the shit out of your mouth. Long Fei was very arrogant and full of disdain. Emperor's Qi? 5th grade blood refining? In my eyes, all of this is nothing. Just one fairy from heaven and you will meet the king of hell. Long Fei continued. Zhao Yitian did not move. He was slightly afraid in his heart. The aura from Long Fei's body was extremely strong. He was not confident in his ability to refine 5th grade blood, so it could be said that he was not confident in his ability at all. One person against 1,000 people. This kind of power was something he didn't even dare to think about. The cultivation technique Long Fei released was too strange, and furthermore, Long Fei still had a sword technique that even Guanzhen could not block, and this move had not been used yet. If even Guanzhen from the Golden Protector level could not block it, how could he? Yi Changfeng shouted loudly, Your Highness, there is no need to be afraid of him. He is just a escalate blood 2 stage, your level is above his, and you are also cultivating the Emperor's Qi. No matter how strong Long Fei was, he was still in the escalate blood 2 stage realm. The true Qi was thin, and he was severely exhausted. In this kind of situation, Zhao Yiqian could definitely win. Long Fei sneered and said, Zhao Yiqian, you dead trash, do you hear me? Elder Yi wants you to come up quickly, can you be a bit faster? Your father's sword is unable to endure the thirst. Hurry up and come up. Don't worry, it will be over soon. I'll deal with you in one strike. Ha ha ha. Although Long Fei looked calm on the surface, he was actually very worried in his heart. If Zhao Yiqian really went up, his life was most likely hanging by a thread, and Zhao Yiqian would definitely kill him. This way. His mission was going to fail. Yi Yorong and Yi Changfeng were about to lose the bet, then he had also lost a woman. This was a huge loss. Seeing that Zhao Yiqian did not dare to move for a long time, Long Fei directly said, Elder Guan, I have a suggestion. Guanzhen looked at Long Fei and asked, what suggestion? Long Fei said, if he doesn't dare to come up, then can I go down and fight him? I can't wait, it's too worn out, I'm just like a woman. His aura was even stronger. Long Fei did not dare to relax. Guanzhen looked at Zhao Yiqian and asked, Zhao Yiqian, you're the only one left, are you going or not? If you do not make it, then admit defeat, or else let a Long come down and fight you. Zhao Yiqian was terrified, and said, I admit defeat. Yi Changfeng's eyes darkened, his fists clenched tightly, and he roared fiercely in his heart, useless trash. Guanzhen was shocked. He looked at Long Fei and said, you win. Long Fei bellowed, admit defeat? Zhao Yiqian, you're admitting defeat before the fight even begins? Was there such a simple matter? I'll go down and fight with you. Finished. Long Fei raised his sword and was about to walk down. In full fury. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Zhao Yiqian's body trembled slightly, he retreated a few steps back. What do you want to do? I admit defeat. Can't I admit defeat? Miao Chong, save me. In that instant, a figure landed and Miao Chong landed beside Zhao Yiqian. He stared coldly at Long Fei and his heart was filled with shock and horror. Good boy. The great general has indeed not misjudged him. Others might not know, but he was very clear that Long Fei was already in a state of running out of food, so Zhao Yiqian could defeat him with ease. However, Long Fei was able to remain calm and collected. This child will definitely become a great person in the future. Miao Chong was secretly happy in his heart, protecting Zhao Yiqian as he said, Your Highness, don't worry. If he dares to come up, I will not be courteous to him. No matter what. Even if Long Fei still had power, he could not die. At least he couldn't die right now. Long Fei glanced at Miao Chong and fiercely said with contempt, if you can't win, why can't you call for help? Damn, trash is trash. Zhao Yiqian did not have a single temper. A single person fighting 1,000 people. That wasn't a human at all. It was a monster. Then, Long Fei looked in Yi Yorong's direction and said, Young sect master, I've won. The meaning behind his words was very simple. I've won, now you're my woman. Chapter 2270 Mysterious Big Awards. Chapter 2270 Mysterious Big Awards. Yi Yorong did not look at Long Fei, but instead looked at the distant Yi Changfeng with an ugly expression. He smiled lightly. Uncle Yin, from tomorrow onwards, can you start the Pill Pavilion's operation? Yi Changfeng flung his sleeves and snorted, I will keep my promise. And then, he left with big strides, his expression ugly. Before leaving, he looked coldly at Long Fei. Long Fei kept making things difficult for him. The Fang Tiandao seal was destroyed, and he lost the bet again. Long Fei acted as if he was stung in the eye. Wait. I will definitely make you die without a burial ground. Yi Changfeng secretly swore in his heart. Watching Elder Yi leave, Zhao Yiqian also quickly left. He did not dare to stay any longer, and his heart was still filled with fear. What he was thinking was not how to deal with Long Fei. What he was thinking of now was to leave the Xianyu sect, return to the divine capital, and think of a way to take revenge. Guanzhen's heart relaxed, and he thought to himself, good boy. And then, Guanzhen said loudly, in the overall assessment competition, Along wins. Boss is mighty. Ha ha ha. The boss is domineering. Boss is awesome, Thin Monkey and the big guy shouted excitedly, while Xiao Dai also laughed happily by the side. They were extremely worried just now, but now they could finally breathe a sigh of relief. At this time, Zhu Yuan walked up and extended his hand. Congratulations, Brother Long. Long Fei also shook it, and said, many thanks. If the Zhu family members were to make a move, the result would be different. To compare Zhao Etien's threat, Long Fei was more afraid of the Zhu family's disciples. These people were the warrior who had truly killed people, fought in battlefields, and carried a murderous aura on them. To be able to be personally sent to the Xianyu sect by the great general, their strength was naturally not simple. Zhu Yuan said, Brother Long is too courteous, fighting 1,000 people alone, no one in the entire Zhenwu continent can accomplish such a thing, even the heavenly son of the true dragon, Zhao Haotian can't do it. Even if we go up, we won't be a match for Brother Long, please take care of us in the future. Zhu Yuan said humbly. In his heart, he truly did admire her. At first, he thought that Long Fei was only trying to act cool, but he didn't think that he would really be able to do it. Long Fei said, we are all of the same sect, let's all work hard together in the future. Zhu Yuan laughed and said, all right, let's work hard together. After that, without saying anything, Zhu Yuan led the Zhu family disciples out of the training field. Xiao Dai walked up and whispered, Along, he is a member of the Zhu family. Xiao Dai knew clearly that Zhu Tian had died in Long Fei's hands, and the reason the Zhu family members had entered the Xianyu sect was to investigate this matter. Long Fei replied, I know. Xiao Dai slightly said, then you. Long Fei said, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Guanzhen, Yu Wanshan, Wu Yi and a few other elders walked down, and said, good boy, you are truly amazing, even I was shocked by you. A single person against 1,000 people. Never before has there been a person like him. Never in the future. Brat, you've really made a name for yourself. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Just like what Zhu Yuan said, even the real dragon and heavenly son, Zhao Haotian, couldn't do it. Who is Zhao Haotian? The crown prince of the royal family could be said to be the most talented person in the Zhenwu continent, an existence that was unmatched in strength. Long Fei said, thank you for your praise, elders. His heart was especially grateful to Guanzhen. Even though he made Guanzhen lose a lot of face the last time, he spoke up for Long Fei without thinking of the past. It's not a compliment, it's a fact. Seems like this year's God sect gathering will also have the strength to fight. Yu Wanshan said with relief. Guanzhen also laughed, and said, with this brat here, in this year's God sect gathering, our results will definitely not be bad, ha ha ha. Wu Yi looked at Long Fei and said, Along, don't let us down. We have high hopes for you, God sect gathering. Clan Congress led by the Zhao dynasty. All of the new disciples that were sent out by the sects within Zhaoguo's territory screamed miserably. The champion would receive special rewards from the royal family and would be conferred a noble title. This was also a method for the Zhao family to win over geniuses. Although the various sects were not under the control of the imperial government, all the sects in God's sect gathering would participate, and with all their might. This was because everyone wanted to win the title of Sky Sect. Raising the sect's influence. Expanding the power of the sect's sect of infinitors had been linked with the Sky Sect for 10 consecutive years. This year was definitely going to come. Long Fei replied, I'll definitely try my best. Right now, he didn't have the mood to think about the God sect gathering. What he was thinking about was the system mystery prize, and there was also Yi Yorong, the top quality woman. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the posturing task. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining mysterious gift pack. After the mission was completed, the system issued out a reward. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Acting tough is too tiring. I almost put my life in there, F***ck. Don't give me any more posturing tasks. It really was deadly. Long Fei's legs were unsteady. What awesome. What a show of force. What kind of power was this? Long Fei was completely relying on brute force. Hearing about System BPS, Long Fei became more spirited. Mystery prize, mystery prize. What is it? I can't wait. In the system space, a black gift pack. Long Fei moved and clicked, activate. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating mysterious gift pack. Please select Financial gift pack, Elixir gift pack, Formation gift pack. Long Fei trembled slightly. What the F******K? The gift pack from the gift pack? This prize is a bit too awesome. There were all kinds of presents in the black box, but Long Fei could only choose one. Long Fei was excited in his heart when he saw these presents, but at the same time, he also became troubled. Financial gift packs, wealth comparable to a nation, medicinal herbs gift packs, boundless medicinal pills, array gift packs, formation space. Every single one of them is awesome. Which one should I choose? Every one of them moved Long Fei's heart. It could be said that every single one of them could help him. However, regardless of whether it was the wealth, pills, or arrays, Long Fei felt that something was missing. He looked at the last one, special gift pack, mysterious and unknown. Mysterious and unknown. Fight. Long Fei gulped down his saliva heavily, as he made up his mind, let's go for it, this is it. And then, the idea moved in Long Fei's heart, special gift pack. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for choosing special gift pack. At this time, that special gift package flashed with a light, and System BPS also immediately sounded out. Long Fei rubbed his hands, feeling extremely nervous. What could it be? What could it be? Elder Shur, please bestow me with your power. At this moment, the sky sword suddenly flashed with a trace of light. Suddenly, the system beep that was initially sounding out suddenly had a short duration of half a second, as if its trajectory had changed. Ding. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2271, 16-character Secret Art of Wind and Water. Chapter 2271, 16-character Secret Art of Wind and Water. Strangely, there had never been such a thing before. Long Fei's heart was also filled with doubts. The system can short-circuit too? He didn't think too much about it. Since his memories had yet to awaken, Long Fei only had the system for a little more than a month, so he naturally did not doubt anything. If his memories had awoken and the system had encountered this kind of situation, he might be on guard. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating special gift pack. You have received a special reward. The reward is Secret World Gift Pack plus Skill Random 1. Secret Skill Gift Pack? Holy **T. **T. Absolutely **T. What the F***ck is this gift pack? This daddy does not cultivate by relying on other world's true essence. This daddy relies on killing monsters. What's the point of these secret world s? Long Fei felt his heart crumble. He had been tricked. The bike didn't turn into a motorcycle, but into a wheelbarrow. Secret world present. There were a few special secret world s in every plane of universal large world, but this kind of secret world was prepared for cultivation. This was because this kind of secret world would either have their cultivation resources run dry or was extremely rich. It was inevitable that the essence of the heaven and earth within the Xianyu secret territory that the Xianyu sect controlled was 3 times richer than outside. But to Long Fei, the secret world was a completely useless existence. Sigh. Long Fei felt bitter in his heart. It wasn't easy to get such a great mysterious prize, and in the end, I gave it to her. If I knew earlier, I would have chosen the gift pack. System your ass. Looking at the secret world's gift pack that was floating in the system space, Long Fei slightly moved and said, "Look at your secret world's gift pack, just what kind of secret world is in it?" Buzz. A buzzing sound exploded. In that instant, it was as if a huge galaxy had appeared in Long Fei's mind. Unrivaled power. The starlight was bright. Long Fei was stunned. Damn, This is too beautiful. He was shocked by the scene in his mind. Also at this time, the names of Secret World appeared in Long Fei's mind one after another. Void Devouring Secret World. Secret World Uranus. Shadow Secret World. One after another, the names of the Secret World S appeared in Long Fei's mind, and these names of the Secret World S had stars behind them. This should be their rank. The Secret World in front were generally 1-star Secret World. 2-star, 3-star. Outside of the Star Traveler description, the system did not kill any of the Secret World S. Or was it the withering of the dead? He didn't say anything. Long Fei was too lazy to look as well. The idea moved and saw a few Secret World S at the deepest area directly. Dragon Coffin Secret World, 9 stars, Dragon Coffin. The Dragon Coffin. Secret World. The two words Dragon Coffin are so familiar. Have I ever seen it before? This Secret World is a 9 dragon coffin, and it's even a 9 times green dragon that was cast in copper water. How strange, why is my mind so familiar with these scenes? 9 dragon coffin. This is the scene in the middle of a novel by Chen Dong. Why do I feel like I've seen it with my own eyes? Did not feel anything from the other Secret World S, but this Dragon Coffin S Secret World gave him a familiar feeling, as if there was something he was familiar with in this secret world. This feeling was very strange, even Long Fei himself could not explain it. Let's go in and take a look first. Long Fei wanted to enter the secret world to see what was going on. However, without waiting for him to enter, the system rang out, ding, system notification, player's level is not high enough, unable to become a 9-star secret world, F***CK. Long Fei disdained, damn you. He felt displeased. He then looked at the other secret world, Dragon Abyss Dungeon, 9.5 stars. A secret world stronger than the Dragon Coffin S? Dragon Abyss Dungeon, could it be that a dragon is being imprisoned inside? Dragon? Damn, isn't this too terrifying? Long Fei shuddered at the thought of this. A dragon was just a legendary divine beast on Earth. If there really was a dragon locked up in this secret world, it would be too terrifying. I should give it a try too. Long Fei moved, wanting to enter the Dragon Abyss Dungeon, but, just like the Dragon Coffin S, they could not be entered if their levels were not high enough. However, at that moment, deep within the Dragon Abyss Dungeon, a pair of enormous dragon eyes suddenly raised their heads as their eyes shone with a bright light, the light of excitement. These rays of light caused the entire Dragon Abyss Dungeon to become restless, but it was just that. Long Fei's idea was unable to enter and could not feel its turmoil. The last secret world. 10-star secret world, Killing God Altar? What kind of secret world is this? Killing God Altar? The place where the gods were destroyed. I've only seen the Immortal Execution Altar on TV, but I've never seen any Killing God Altar S before. Long Fei grinned. And then, he immediately closed off the secret world. How boring. What kind of messed up secret world is this? Secret world closed. Long Fei was not interested in these secret world S. Although there were a few that he was very familiar with, but he could not enter, and there was nothing he could do about it. And also a reward cultivation technique. Yes. Secret World's gift pack is trash. Master System, at least you have to give me something better, right? Long Fei's heart tightened again. The idea had opened. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 16 secret Yin-Yang Wind Water technique. Looking at the technique that the system had rewarded him with, Long Fei's mouth was wide open, his eyes were in a daze, he was suddenly speechless, and was unable to speak for a long time. F***CK. System, can we play properly now? 16 words of secret Yin-Yang Wind and Water technique, F***CKU. Do you think I'm blaming you for nothing? I'm in a foreign world. What's wrong with the points? Reward me with a secret technique of digging graves. Long Fei wanted to cry, but no tears came out. What were the 16 characters of the secret art of Yin-Yang Wind and Water? The tomb robbing technique in the ghost blows out the light. This. Long Fei never thought that the system would reward him with a tomb robbing technique. And the burial site of this world was the same as the one on Earth. Would the 16 words of the secret wind and water technique be useful? Long Fei was so angry that he wanted to curse. However, he had already made his choice. Long Fei had no choice but to directly click on the 16-character yin-yang wind and water secret technique to receive it. Cultivation technique, 16 words yin-yang wind water secret technique, grave digging technique, grade, secret technique consumption, 0 cooldown, 10 hours description, exploring ancient tombs, divine tombs, sacred tombs, devil sects tombs. He searched for the spirit treasure beneath the ground. Wind, water, yin and yang, heaven, earth, and man, opening the secret art, everything was open. So awesome. Long Fei had a look of despise on his face. He simply did not believe that such a powerful secret art could be seen through even with a glance. Immediately, Long Fei came up out of curiosity, and said, "Let me see if you are really that awesome." 16 words of secret wind, water, yin and yang arts, open. As soon as he finished, a huge compass started to frantically spin in Long Fei's mind. It was like a large machine running. 10 seconds later, the needle was pointing at a certain location. At the same time, a system notification rang out. Chapter 2272, The Tomb of the True Martial Emperor. Chapter 2272, The Tomb of the True Martial Emperor. As the compass revolved, it gave off a very cool feeling. Moreover, there was no need for Long Fei to control the 16 words of the secret technique, nor for him to do anything. It was as if he was releasing a skill. Skill activation, skill activation. When the needle stopped moving, Long Fei's gaze followed the direction of the pointer, right at the location of the desolate hill where Gui Qingshan was at. The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for exploring the tomb of true martial emperor. Long Fei. Looking at the prompt in the system, Long Fei was a little confused, and he couldn't find his way to the north either. True martial emperor? The strongest powerhouse. His tomb will be at Xianyu sect. And it was on an unremarkable mountain slope. The desolate mountainside was as barren as a bird's shit, and chickens never gave birth to eggs. It was the same for the 4 seasons of the year, and there was not even a single blade of grass for the cyan bull to eat. Would this place be the tomb of the true martial emperor? Long Fei expressed his doubt. This was simply impossible. Moreover, according to Long Fei's knowledge, the Xianyu sect had never been out of the true martial emperor realm. At the very most, it was a Zhenwu realm away from the true martial emperor realm, hundreds of thousands of miles away. If there wasn't, then why would there be the tomb of the true martial emperor here? Long Fei muttered in his heart, "System, are you trying to trick me again?" The system did not reply. It would not answer any of Long Fei's questions. Long Fei looked at the unremarkable mountain slope, and thought to himself, the system shouldn't be wrong. If it really is the tomb of the true martial emperor, then... Long Fei was a little excited. The true martial emperor's corpse wasn't rotten, and he also had a formidable strength within his body. The corpses of true martial emperors were priceless existences. Not to mention his funeral objects. Any one of them might even be the existence of holy artifact. Ha ha ha. I feel like I'm going to make a fortune. Long Fei couldn't help but laugh excitedly. It was also at this time. Seeing Long Fei's expression, Xiao Dai felt joy and worry for him, and could not help but worry for him. It can't be that you haven't recovered yet, right? Did you lose your mind again? Boss, are you alright? Boss, did you think of something delicious? Why are you drooling? Boss, what's the situation? The 3 of them looked at Long Fei's drooling face and started to worry. Long Fei recovered from the shock, and when he saw the 3 of them looking at him, he said, I'm fine. Hey, why are we here? Xiao Dai said, you're still talking. It's like you didn't hear what we said in martial arts arena. You looked like you didn't hear it at all. I was worried about you getting hurt, so I let them help you leave. At that time, Long Fei really wanted to look at all sorts of secret world. He didn't notice the surrounding situation. However, in martial arts arena, He too had made a fool of himself. It was like he was sick. Long Fei regained his senses and muttered, "Maybe I was too tired earlier so I didn't notice it." "Right. Where's Yi Yorong?" Thin Monkey and the big size man were speechless. Yi Yorong was the young sect master. How could he call him by name? This was a great disrespect. Xiao Dai said, "Sister Yi is young sect master, you cannot call her by her name. She did not appear, she left after you won the competition. F***CK. Long Fei immediately scolded, "Are you messing with me again? Little girl, just you wait." Xiao Dai immediately asked, "What's wrong?" Long Fei said, "Nothing, let's return to our room first." The Thin Monkey also became excited, and said, "We are going back to our residences to clean up. Boss, because of your relationship, the three of us have special rights. Although we cannot enter the elite hall, but we can follow you to Secret World to cultivate." The big guy said happily, "Boss, thank you so much." This was Guanzhen's, Yu Wanshan's, Wu Yi's, and a few other elders' special reward to Long Fei. At that time, Long Fei was stiff and did not hear anything. Long Fei laughed and said, "What are you thanking me for? When I was fighting on the stage, didn't you guys not go up as well? Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's hurry home." Long Fei really wanted to understand the situation on the barren hill. If it was really the tomb of the true martial emperor, then this place was a treasure trove of feng shui. However, 10 hours of cooldown was a bit long, and the first step was to explore the position, while the second was to dig the grave. If he didn't find the right place, he would most likely die a horrible death. After all, this was the tomb of the true martial emperor. No one wanted their corpse to be dug out. There would definitely be all sorts of traps. If they weren't careful, they would die for all eternity. "General, you really are wise. That brat. It's really incredible, one person fighting 1,000 people, which is something that even the true dragon Tianzi, Zhao Haotian, couldn't do." Miao Chong was extremely excited. Gui Qingshan's face also revealed a joyous expression, and said, "I also did not expect that after a month of cultivation without any improvement, he would actually have such a powerful fighting strength. That kid isn't simple." Miao Chong said, "Great General, what should we do next? What about the capital?" Gui Qingshan slightly said, "Something has happened over at the divine capital. Zhao Haotian's life was crippled, and this is also the reason why Yi Yorong suddenly returned to the sect. Right now, the Zhao family can be said to be in chaos. Whether Zhao Haotian is still alive or not, I heard that Zhao Wuji has already made his move." Miao Chong was startled. Then who is this person? There are not many cultivators that can injure Zhao Haotian, and even Zhao Wuji was alarmed, so this person must not be simple. Gui Qingshan shook his head, "I don't know yet, but..." Gui Qingshan raised his head to look at the profound moon peak, and in his heart, he had a feeling that this matter had something to do with Yi Yorong. The Zhao family has sent out many experts to investigate that killer in secret. I heard that the killer was hit by Zhao Wuji's everlasting burning sword, so even if he doesn't die, he won't live for long. Gui Qingshan muttered. Miao Chong said in shock, "Limitless burning sword, this burning pain is useless against any kind of healing medicine. The pain endured by is even more so unbearable for ordinary people." Gui Qingshan nodded his head, "I'm afraid this matter will affect the Xian Yu sect as well. I wonder if the matter of the conferred Guo tribes and the princess consort will continue." Miao Chong was confused. "Great General, why did the Zhao family suddenly take a fancy to the Xian Yu sect? There's no reason, it's still just a sect of infinitors, and the current patriarch of the Zhao family came from the sect of infinitors, so no matter what, he would not grant Xian Yu sect the title of Guo tribe. And the Zhu family. I have observed those Zhu family disciples, none of them were simple. Their cultivation was deliberately suppressed, and they must have entered the Xian Yu sect for other things. The Zhao and Zhu families are the main culprits behind the destruction of Wei family. Did they discover the identity of the young master?" Gui Qingshan's eyes tensed up, and she said faintly, "I am also investigating this matter, but right now I can tell that Little Master's identity has not been exposed. It's very likely that the Xian Yu sect is hiding some kind of heaven-shocking treasure, and even the Zhao family wants it." Miao Chong's brows knitted, Everyone in the world belongs to the Zhao family, and even they want to obtain something. What would that be? Chapter 2273, The Three Great True Martial Emperors. Chapter 2273, The Three Great True Martial Emperors at Night. After Long Fei ate dinner, he sat in the courtyard. Gui Qingshan was still the same as usual, squatting at the side as he smoked, puffing out smoke rings as he glanced at Long Fei from time to time. Not long after, Long Fei walked in front of the ox stall, took out some grass from his basket and handed it over. Eat more. Brother Long, is there something on your mind? Azure Ox asked. The green cattle spoke human language only in places where there was no one around. Long Fei said, Tomorrow, I will enter secret world to cultivate. I wonder when I will be able to come out. Gui Qingshan raised his pipe and said a few words lightly. Cultivate properly in the secret world, this beast is not hungry. Green Ox was moved. Brother Long, so you were worried about me? Long Fei laughed. Those who fought with him were brothers, regardless of whether they were humans or beasts. Seeing Gui Qingshan speak, Long Fei walked forward and said, Uncle Gui, what kind of secret world is this? He wanted to know if there were any demon beast in the Xianyu secret territory. He also wanted to know what level the Xianyu secret territory was compared to the secret world in his gift pack. Gui Qingshan replied, Don't worry, no one will be reckless in secret world. Secret world's cultivation is not easy to come by, no one will waste any time. The spiritual qi of heaven and earth inside is 3 times more than outside. This is a rare opportunity, you must cherish it. Long Fei thought, seems like there are no demon beastess to kill inside. And then, Long Fei also squatted beside Gui Qingshan and asked, Who discovered Xianyu secret territory? Is he the first sect master of our Xianyu sect? Gui Qingshan said, That's not true, as far as I know, Xianyu secret territory already existed before Xianyu sect was even established. The reason why they're called Xianyu secret territory is because the profound moon ancestor discovered them first, and also because of this secret world that was created here. So it's like that. Long Fei secretly noted this down in his heart, and asked, The ancestor should be the strongest cultivator in our Xianyu sect, right? Then, has he ever stepped into the realm of the true martial emperor? Thin Monkey and the big size man also walked out, their faces full of curiosity. This was, after all, the history of the Xianyu sect. That's right, has the Xianyu sect ever come out with a true martial emperor? Gui Qingshan replied, No, true martial great emperor is much stronger than peak Zhenwu realm S. He is in existence at the level of an emperor, and at the peak of the primordial profound moon, he was at the middle stage of the Zhenwu realm. He is still far from becoming a true martial great emperor. In the entire history of the Xianyu sect, there has never been a true martial emperor. Speaking of true martial emperor, only 3 people have appeared in the entire Zhenwu continent for tens of millions of years. True martial war martial immortal Shu Wufu, Heaven Lake Saintess Ju Xin, and Magic Tribe Emperor Hua Hades. These 3 people were once the pinnacle characters of the Zhenwu continent. They were able to break through the heavens and enter the powerhouse S that were in the center of universal world. But I am not sure whether or not he managed to break through the heavens and reach the grand mist center of powerhouse. Why do you ask? Gui Qingshan looked at Long Fei. Long Fei scratched his head and said, I'm just curious. Gui Qingshan said, Now is not the time for you to be curious about these things. God's sect gathering will begin in half a year. Your strongest opponent is the sect of Infinitors. True martial war god Shu Wufu is the ancestor of the sect of Infinitors. Long Fei said, Shu Wufu is the ancestor of the sect of Infinitors? He immediately thought to himself, so that means, with the addition of true martial emperor, the tomb of Heaven Lake Saintess Ju Xin, or Magic Tribe's great emperor Hua Yang, right? We'll wait. With my good intentions, I will be able to use the 16-character wind-water yin-yang secret technique a second time in 6 hours. At that time, I will definitely be able to investigate this tomb to the end. The reason why Long Fei asked so many questions was because of the tomb of the true martial emperor beneath his feet. Gui Qingshan slightly said, Even though millions of years have passed, the Zuwufu war god arts has always been the most precious treasure of the sect of Infinitors. Only the most talented people are qualified to learn it. The Zhao family's true dragon and heavenly son Zhao Haotian have already trained in it. If he were to fight it, you should be able to meet him. The thin monkey said in shock. The true dragon sky child Zhao Haotian, he is the crown prince. He has the imperial chi and cultivates the war god tactic. Who the hell am I supposed to be his opponent? Gui Qingshan said, indeed, not to mention Zhao Guo, he is the #1 person among the young generation of the entire Zhenwu continent. Even our young sect master is a little inferior. There was a hint of loneliness in his voice. The Zhao family was so powerful that they were untouchable. Even if Zhao Haotian's life force was destroyed, the Zhao family was still an invincible existence. Long Fei thought. He basically did not put Zhao Haotian in his heart at all, and the only thing that occupied his mind right now was one thing. Time flowed on. When the sky brightened, Long Fei immediately got up. It could be said. He did not sleep all night, but counted the hours. When the cool-down time for the 16 words secret art of wind and water came up, Long Fei immediately stood up. Walking to the front of the cow stall, Long Fei pulled out the cyan bull and said, let's go. He somersaulted and mounted it. The azure ox was extremely touched. Gui Qingshan, who was standing at the window, also lightly spoke, a righteous man, this kid. Very satisfied. However, he simply did not know what Long Fei was thinking in his heart. Long Fei rode the green ox and had almost circled around the bottom of the barren hill once, but he did not find any tombstone nor any suspicious places. I don't care. Using the tomb digging technique. And then, Long Fei's aura trembled. After confirming that there was no one else in the vicinity, the idea moved. 16 words of secret wind, water, yin and yang, open. Hualala. Hualala. The compass started spinning crazily in his mind. Long Fei thought in his heart, come out, just find the tomb door. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. The second step was to determine the location of the tomb door, but the needle did not stop for a whole few minutes, revolving non-stop. Long Fei did not understand, what's going on? Where's the tomb door? No. Or can you not find it? F***CK. System, as expected, you are cheating again. It went on and on without stopping. The skill was still in circulation and did not stop. It was as if he was constantly searching. An hour passed. The needle continued spinning. 2 hours passed. It was still spinning. 3 hours passed. At this moment, Long Fei was already at the entrance of the Xianyu secret territory. Guanzhen looked at Long Fei and said, kid, cultivate properly. Don't disappoint us. Long Fei said, I will do my best. His figure moved and he stepped into the Xianyu secret territory. It was also at this time. The needle of the compass suddenly stopped spinning, and the system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for discovering the location of the Zhenwu Emperor's tomb. What the F***K. So it's here. Ha ha ha. I'm going to make a fortune. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2274, Killer, Xianyu Four Swords. Chapter 2274, Killer, Xianyu Four Swords. Xianyu secret territory is the tomb of the true martial emperor? Long Fei didn't know. But the system would never lie. The moment Long Fei stepped into the Xianyu secret territory, the needle immediately stopped spinning. It was clear that this was the entrance to the tomb. Ayya. Crap, I forgot to bring Luoyang here. Without tools, how can we dig graves? Long Fei secretly complained in his heart. What the hell was the use of being able to locate the tomb without being able to dig in? Buzz. With a flash of white light, Long Fei landed steadily on the ground. Looking at the scene before him, he too was shocked. There was a massive martial arts practice field inside, all of it made of flat limestone. At the end of the square was a floating palace, suspended in the air like a celestial palace. It was extremely shocking. Wow. Isn't that too spectacular? Is this the Xianyu secret territory? Look at that shrine floating in the sky. What is that? Only newbies came in together with Long Fei. He won the competition yesterday, and also elected 9 new disciples to enter the Xianyu sect, of which the Zhu family had 3 new disciples. Zhu Yuan walked over, looked at Long Fei and said, "Brother Long, we meet again." Long Fei also politely smiled. Xiao Dai intentionally kept his distance. Zhu Yuan laughed, looked at Long Fei's shocked expression and said, "The distant shrine only requires a faster understanding of cultivation to get closer to. Do you think it's far? That's because our cultivation is currently low. If you were to break through from the elixir realm to the essence refining realm, you would be able to step into the divine hall. I heard that the true essence in the shrine is 10 times richer than outside. That is where the true power of the Xianyu secret territory lies. However, there are not many in the refinement realm in the entire continent, and there are very few who can step into the divine palace. I'm afraid there are not more than 5 in the entire Xianyu sect." Zhu Yuan said lightly. Long Fei was slightly shocked as he said, "Could it be that this secret world is an illusory realm secret world?" Zhu Yuan said, "You can say that, but it all depends on your strength. The higher your cultivation realm is, the closer you are to the divine hall, the richer the true essence of heaven and earth you will be able to absorb. Brother Long, I won't waste your time. This time, we only have 3 days. I'm going to cultivate." Zhu Yuan was a little anxious, so he hugged his hands and left in large strides. The Zhu family's people followed him. Long Fei stood in place and looked around. Illusory secret world. All illusions can be broken. The thin monkey could not wait any longer as he said, "Boss, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth here is too dense. It's as if we can hold it in our hands." "About that," Long Fei said, "you all can go cultivate, don't waste time." To them, every second was incomparably precious. The thin monkey and the big-sized guy also quickly went to their positions. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei and asked, "Along, what are you thinking about now?" Long Fei looked at the shrine at the end of the plaza and said, "It's nothing, sis, you should go cultivate as well." Xiao Dai hesitated for a few seconds before he started to absorb heaven and earth primeval essence. The dozen or so disciples that entered were all present, and each of them were completely focused. Their mental energies were highly concentrated, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that no one wanted to miss. Long Fei was not in a hurry. Even if he was anxious, it would be useless. Because what kind of absorption of heaven and earth true essence was completely useless to him? Moreover, he could not feel the true essence of heaven and earth, nor could he absorb it. There was only one thing on his mind: digging a grave. This is the entrance to the true martial emperor's tomb. Everything is the same. Only the temple is different. Then, Long Fei looked at the shrine in the distance, his heart tight. Needless to say, that's definitely where the entrance is. While they were talking, Long Fei took a step forward. The blue stone floor rippled with light, like ripples on the surface of a water surface. Long Fei seemed to have taken a step forward, but the distance between him and the shrine did not change at all. It was still the same distance. Long Fei tried a few more times. The result was the same, no matter how he moved forward. It was impossible to pull in any distance from the temple. However, this action made the elite disciples, who were cultivating in the shrine, laugh. "Another muggle has come in. What a waste of time. What is the sect doing now? Why are all these random people sent inside? That's right, he even put garbage like that in there. It's a complete waste of resources." Many people started to mock him. Long Fei ignored him. However, amongst the crowd of jeers, Long Fei's heart trembled slightly because he could sense a few sharp killing intents. Not more than 10 meters away from him, he could feel any slight killing intent. Obviously, there was someone here who wanted his life. Long Fei pretended not to know anything and continued to explore, but he became cautious and alert. Yi Changfeng's people? Or a henchman of the Zhao family? No matter who it is, anyone who dares to provoke me must die. Long Fei tried a few more times, but to no avail. And then, he did not try again, because he knew clearly that this was an illusory secret world. He could not get close to it unless he could break this illusion. Long Fei sat cross-legged, looking straight at his nose and heart, his hands lightly placed on his knees, in the same position as the others. However, he could not feel a trace of heaven and earth primeval essence, even in this place where the spiritual energy was dense. This was the downside of the system. Long Fei did not absorb them, and the map of the Xian Yu secret territory that was just drawn up appeared in his mind. The so-called illusion is a type of array formation. As long as you break the formation, you'll be able to jump out of the illusion. Long Fei had never trained in array formations before, but the knowledge of array formations seemed to have been etched into his brain, and it came out in an instant, which was a little like the alchemy from before. Who? Long Fei let out a light breath, and with a jolt of his mind, he said, "Let's give it a try." His mind and will spread out in all directions. Streams of power flowed into the surroundings. The knowledge of the array formation that he had previously cultivated in the dragon coffin began to gush out crazily, and many powerful array energies also spread out according to Long Fei's will. It seeped out bit by bit. It was also at this moment. Hot sweat rolled down Long Fei's forehead as his entire body was drenched. Right now, his cultivation was too low and his spirit energy was too weak, so he wasn't able to withstand the powerful formation's strength. His body trembled slightly. Just a bit more, just a bit more. At this moment, Long Fei's mind energy had already detected the location of the formation aperture. As long as he could break through this illusion, he would be able to solve it. Long Fei frowned. "I found the formation aperture, haha." Unexpectedly. The eye of the formation is actually an unremarkable bluestone, just that. There was something special about this rock. It had some green scales. What kind of scales were these? Fish scales? Snake scale? Or dragon scale? Long Fei did not care about all this, and shouted in his heart, "Break." It was also at this moment. A few of the disciples of the elite Hall-S stood up. "Do it." Chapter 2275 I Want to Go Back to Earth. Chapter 2275 I Want to Go Back to Earth. Almost at the same time, killing intent exploded out. The formation aperture began to move. On one side was the critical time to break the formation aperture, while on the other side was the moment when his life hung by a thread. The four of them took advantage of the momentum and flashed their long swords as they unleashed their killing moves. Almost in an instant. From the moment Long Fei sat down cross-legged, they had been closely observing everything. Seeing Long Fei's forehead filled with sweat and his body faintly trembling, this was the critical moment of his breakthrough. At this time, the success rate of his attacks increased by 200%. Any martial practitioner would not be able to be distracted at this point in time. They were silent in their own cultivation world, and at this time, not to mention Long Fei's current realm, even the of the elixir realm would not be able to withstand a sneak attack. Thus, usually, the higher the level, the more critical and crucial the breakthrough time was. They would find a secret place to close up and break through, or they could even be protected by experts. "Give me your life, brat, go and die." Two harsh shouts. The four death blows were only half a meter away from Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei's heart tightened slightly. Although he was not at the critical moment of breaking through, he was at the critical moment of breaking through. If he were to withdraw his mental energy at this moment, he would be completely exhausted. He would need at least a few days to recover his spiritual energy, and at that time, he would not be able to enter the secret world. No way. Long Fei's eyes suddenly opened wide. Taking note of the four's faces, he shouted, "You want to kill me? You are still very young." Rainbow barrier. He immediately activated his shield, blocking the attacks of the four enemies. When he dug up the tomb of the true martial emperor and brought out the treasures, then he would settle the score. Boom. Buzz, buzz. The four killing moves were all blocked by Long Fei. The four of them were shocked. What cultivation level were the four of them? They were only one level higher than the escalated blood stage, the qi refining stage. Even Yi Changfeng, who was at the elixir realm, could not break the rainbow shield, so how could they? It was simply impossible. His cultivation technique can't hold for much longer. "Let's attack again." A man shouted loudly. The four people shot their weapons. The moment he landed, his body charged again and attacked. Indeed. The rainbow shield had a time limit. Even if there wasn't a time limit, Long Fei wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Right now, his mental energy was simply too exhausted, so even if he had an even stronger power, he wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. Unless he could break the formation. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei's breathing became heavier. Her face was pale. He can't hold on any longer. Ha ha ha. Kid, isn't it good to offend someone? You just have to offend the great clan elder. Even if you can withstand our attacks, I'm afraid you'll become a cripple in the future. If you lose your mind at such a critical juncture, you'll be considered lucky if you don't go berserk. Attack again, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk. The moves of the four were especially fierce. The rainbow shield slowly weakened. It was already beginning to shake. It was as if his spirit energy had been completely drained. Long Fei's body started to be unable to take it. As his internal injuries twitched, a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. He couldn't hold on any longer. Seeing this, the four of them simultaneously revealed a strong killing intent and became excited. You dog, hand over your life. Your head is worth 10 grade 4 spirit dance. Do you know what a tier 4 spiritual pill is? Ha ha ha. It's your honor to die at the hands of our Shen Yu 4 swords. Ha ha ha. The 4 swords screamed as they swooped down at the same time and pierced towards Long Fei's head. Buzz. The 7-colored barrier shattered. Long Fei's heart was filled with anger. Fuck you. Really annoyed. The 8 generations of ancestors were all burning with rage. At this time, Long Fei did not care about breaking the array anymore, although he was only one step away from it. As long as he channeled his mental energy into the array eye, he could break through the illusion. However, he was annoyed. If they angered him, he would ignore everything else. Long Fei was a madman. He was a madman in this game. In this world where killing people did not break the law, he was the same. He was a madman. He withdrew his spiritual will. Their F***king selling out. I don't believe I can't kill you all. Long Fei cursed, this time. Arrogant god energy value had been cleared through missions, killing people. Killing monsters had already reached 100 points. He could release it now. The idea moved. He tightened his grip on the wild god's energy. When the 4 sword moves landed, Long Fei was furious. But, at that moment of life and death, before he could even release his arrogant god energy value, the formation eye cyan stone, that was covered in green scales, suddenly released a powerful burst of energy, which sucked in all the energy that was in his mind, causing Long Fei's body to sink, as though his entire person was falling down from the sky. Crap. What's going on? Holy **T. He couldn't control it. His body continued to sink, completely out of Long Fei's control. His whole body was shaking uncontrollably. Seeing this situation, the 4 of them excitedly laughed out loud. A little trash from the escalated blood stage dares to be so arrogant in front of us Shen Yu 4 swords. You're courting death. Cut the crap. Kill him first. His head is worth 10 grade 4 elixirs. Ha ha ha. We've got the spiritual medicine. The 4 attacks fell. Long Fei wanted to retaliate, but he couldn't even control himself now. How could he do so? Devour my mind energy. Both sides are taking your life, right? Alright. Then let's see who can take whose life. In that instant, Long Fei released the super strong power of the formation in his mind, and the power of his will also increased explosively. The idea stared at the limestone that was covered with green scales, and fiercely smashed it down. Heaven and earth formation. I am the holy source. Long Fei roared in his heart. Open. Boom. A loud explosion resounded in the sky as thunder rumbled. Powerful array power continued to spread out, and Long Fei's heart also trembled slightly. Such a strong array power. I can actually release such a strong array power myself? I have never cultivated array formations before. Could it be that I am a peerless genius? F***ck. Luckily I was transported to a foreign world, or else it would be such a waste for me to be here on Earth. Not waiting for him to finish. His expression was one of slight surprise. Gudong. He swallowed hard, his face pale and his eyes lifeless. It's over. Just a moment ago, he was still narcissistic about the fact that he was a peerless genius. However, this time, the green scaly rock didn't move at all. There wasn't even a crack. The core of the array formation was completely intact. This meant that the array formation hadn't been broken. After all, he had injected all of his power into the previous blow. Without breaking the formation, there would only be one consequence: to wait for death. What a tragedy. I'm going to have a tragedy. Long Fei's heart trembled a little. Who wouldn't be afraid of death? He watched as the 4 killing blows landed. On the other side, the green scale stone was still crazily devouring the power of his mental will. He couldn't deal with any of the two sides right now. F***CK. Am I going to die? So fast. I haven't had enough fun. Old teacher, bless me. I hope this is just a dream. The other world is too dangerous, and I can only tell you to go back to Earth. I swear that I will only do this to you in the future. Long Fei was incomparably bitter. How can a human transmigrate to another world? This must be a dream. I want to go back to Earth. Boom. A loud explosion resounded. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,